Well, Your Eminence.
Look who's here. We've got His Worship himself.
We have His Worship himself,
Mr. Jeff Fawcett.
So
yes, kind of only his worship in the council chambers, but
so what is that? Why is that used?
It's the old Westminster system.
Okay.
Yeah. There is a lot of protocol, actually. Not to just jump right into things, but at the council table, when you first show up at the council table, it is not a natural flowing conversation. And it's quite uncomfortable for a while because there is such a process. Hand up, wait your turn, through your worship to the speaker, through your worship to the other councillors, and it doesn't feel like it. To me, it feels like it flows naturally now, but it is a real different way to talk. You know how we'll interrupt all the way through this thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
But if it's almost like if I said, it's like, Jayan's got his hand up, and he's next, and then Quentin, you're after that. You got to wait, listen to everything Jayan says, not say anything. Wait. He might ask all the questions you have, or go in a completely other direction. Like council is an interesting form of discussion.
So it's manners, like we were taught in, when we were taught in school. Wait your turn, and then say your piece.
Yeah. It's good, but fluid, natural discussion does have us interrupting a lot.
Yeah,
and you can see it on somebody will be commenting and saying something, and the person's third or fourth on the list to speak, and they're like, I want to chime in here.
So at what point do we start banging our shoes on the table? Right?
We haven't got there yet.
No, okay.
We haven't got there yet.
Have you ever had, that there's a natural order to how this has to go. Have you ever seen, like, there's Bill, there's Bob, there's Steve, there's Ed, and you're like, I know that Ed's next, but I'm just going to skip him and go right back.
No, you do your best to follow along. It actually moves pretty fluid for everybody in there. I would say now that everyone's at least 3 years in, but it is a very unnatural discussion at first.
Yeah, but you've been at this for a while now.
Yeah.
No. But you've been at this for a while now. How long have you been? You were in council for what?
I was council 12 years.
Right.
And and then 3, so 15.
Right. So you got your boots dirty young, because you would have been 30 something.
38, 39.
How did you even what made you want to do this? Like starting? Because I know why when I ran.
Yeah,
I'm a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah. I'll tell you, like, for myself, a lot of people run for all kinds of different reasons, but a lot run for the same reason I did, and I talk to school groups about this all the time. There's the philanthropy groups at the school, and there's the youth groups, the big youth volunteer groups. If you do a lot of things in the community, and you love being involved in stuff, eventually people are going to ask you to do other things. And eventually, like in my case, it was like Doug Patterson, years before I ran, asked me to run for city council. And I said, well, that sounds like a great idea, Doug, but I just live up the street from you, though. Oh, the wait and run next time.
Right.
Because he was running that time still.
Right.
And so I kind of did, but it also gave me a bit of time. And then others did too. I was on the Chamber of Commerce, Manitoba Chamber of Commerce, Art Gallery Board, like all kinds of BUs, foundation. Like, you're actively involved in the community, and people say, hey, why don't you give a bit more? And for the Jode, my wife, when I said I was going to do this, like, her big thing was, well, then just drop all the other ones.
Mm.
And that's so I did. And so the time difference wasn't that significant at all.
You only have so much bandwidth, right?
Yeah.
Really.
So I have a question in regards to a lot of these positions that you were talking about. Is we are not really educated very well on what civic, like the civic duty and civic opportunities that people tend to overlook when it comes to a city or a province or whatever it might be. any ideas why that would be kind of lacking from the curriculum?
Yeah, I'm not sure. The last election, and I was running against Elliot, and Elliot and I had gone to university together, actually. So I knew Elliot, and we talked to about going into one of the high schools, and they actually didn't let us. They didn't want
Really?
to
Really?
politics in the school.
See,
Yeah,
They
we
don't
just
want
do-
politics.
They
What?
didn't want us to do, to have the politics in the school.
That's
Of all things, they should be having that, because how would you create civic pride or responsibility if kids don't even know that's a possibility?
Yeah,
Well-
no, I agree that you should be able to discuss that kind of stuff all the time.
Yeah.
You should, particularly things like municipal politics, where you're not bringing party politics in, you're not bringing
Right.
partisan politics in. You're literally civic minded, civic duty.
Well, and I think when you talk, and that makes sense, because I know when I went to school, you talked about federal government, provincial government, and municipal is just a blip. It's just a blip. Like there's 3 levels of government.
I always give Kelly Saunders, who's at the university, the gears, because she
Right.
always has the MPs and the MLAs invited to talk. And I say, I'm going to just show up one day, talk to your class
Yeah.
about municipal politics.
Well, I think that's a good thing. You should get some of the counselors or whomever it may be getting involved and talking to some of these students and say, like, this is what we do. This is why you can be mad at us. This is why you shouldn't be mad at us. These are the things that we control.
Yeah. Now, that being said, like, that was during the election. I do go into the schools quite regularly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been to some classes, and it is to talk about municipal politics and that. So there is a number of teachers in the high school that do get me in there, and I go to the younger classes quite often as well, always during the reading month.
Yeah.
To read, and then there's some young fans that just they'd like to have the mayor come and.
Isn't
and
that
so
cool
I do,
though?
and yeah, and just like when we were young, you want to make those kids sort of proud they met you, and you want to act like an adult, like someone that respects them, and kind of think like I met just like if you met your favorite hockey player when you were young. And you kind of thought, they gave me time. They were polite. I can tell my parents that this person seemed like a good person.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, hang on. So before we go any further, both of you, if you look to the right of your screen, can you see the chat? Are you guys seeing it?
I see it. Yeah.
Jeff, can you see it? If you go to the right of your screen, under our pictures, there should be a little thing like a bubble that says chat.
Yeah.
Oh, I do.
There you go. Now you can see people are saying hi. So by all means, say hi to people as
hey, Jason Prince and Brandon Soccer. Now that'll be. Oh, good Lord.
Uh-oh. Hot seat here.
Yeah.
So
No. They're good.
So, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a quick
baking
little
butter
story.
tarts. That's the one downside of being online here. We can't participate in any of those butter tarts.
Bernice is doing her baking. Perfect.
Yeah. So here's a story that kind of follows on what you just said there, Jeff. I remember at one point in time I was walking through the town center with my daughter, and you guys were doing some sort of tour through there, and so waved at a bunch of the counselors and saw you, and we came up and we chatted for a second, shook hands, and walked away. And my youngest girl, she looks at me and she goes, "Dad, who was that?" And I said, that was the mayor. And she just went, oh my God, are you serious? You know the mayor? She was just starstruck. Like she was blown away.
And it is fun because that's true. And we were the same when we were young. And I'm going to tell you, because you guys would remember this, but my old friend Gary, we kind of grew up in the Kmart area and all that. And we were at Valley View at the time, and Gary says, I remember I went to the Kmart, and I'll tell you, I freaked out because I saw Ron Thompson, and he just couldn't get over. He's like, "Oh, mom, she's like, "It's easy. Oh, mom, it's Ron Thompson." Like, and
we
do, and we want those people to be good people, and we want to. and it's good for young people to know, like the president of the university, your MLA, your MPs, the principal of the school, because people are just people. And you know, we think back, like I remember thinking back to the old Wilton when he was the mayor. Like these were adults, we were kids, and now we're the adults. We kind of think, wow, like I wonder if they were as unimpressive as we are.
So when did that hit you, Jeff? Like I mean, you were in council, and then suddenly you're the mayor. I mean, there would have been a point where you said, "Wow, okay, now I'm really doing grown up stuff now." I mean, you always were, but this is another level of. Here we go.
Yeah. And you know, and actually, there's a significant difference between mayor and council. Like if Todd Burton wants to know what books are behind me, I'll share the ones I have in my office with them. I have a bit of library at the office too. Come on, I've got
mine are just coloring
lots. Books. Yeah, I've got lots of books. It drives people nuts. But yeah, the mayor is different. It is different. But you know, I also I know that you don't have to know everything. You have to know how to get information. You have to know who do you have to work with. Right. Actually, just today, Cross Borders podcast named myself, like, so he's a podcaster that does everything, all municipal across the country. So he's in Yukon, he's PEI, and he interviews all of us, and he talks about, like, he's all municipal. And he actually recognized myself, Mayor Gillingham, and Mayor Knox from Portage as the municipal leaders of the year.
Really?
You know, stories of the year, mostly based on the now years long bail reform push we've been doing, and which is kind of nice to see, because when he put that out there, you know, who was the municipal leaders of the year from across the country, it came in like the three of us. So
wow.
But we didn't mean to go out and do that. We're very fortunate in Manitoba. We all pull for each other.
Well, the thing is, when you talk about topics like that, I mean, it's been a hot topic for a while, the bail reform.
Yeah.
And there needs to be a change. There's no doubt.
Well, there does. And, you know, and we've all talked about that I've done a number of CBC things. Scott's done a pile. Sherilyn she was the lead on this. She had a horrible accident that occurred in Portage that really drove this. And Scott and I were able to get behind her and be champions for her. And I'll tell you what, there's not a lot of people like Scott Gillingham, the mayor of a city that size, that says, I'm going to get behind the mayor of Portage because she's got the story. I don't need this. I need to help her because that will help us.
Right.
And, you know, most people would want to put themselves at the front.
And I think that for most part, I think for the most part, people have to understand that there's no instant fix there, but I mean, the fact that you guys are actually talking about it is really the only step that can happen.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, because I know that we all had to miss a university session that they did on bail reform. It's too bad, because sometimes when you don't know or you don't talk to people, like the reality is the bail system generally works not too bad, but it's one of those 80, 20, 90, 10. Yeah, like for the 20% or 10% that it is not working for, like it is wreaking havoc. Yeah. So it's not a reassess everything.
When people talk about bail reform, like what are some of the underlying issues? Because we hear that term a lot, but not a lot of people really know what the concerns or the problems are. Can you give it like a little Cole's notes on that?
Well, in the case of the Sherilyn's incident with the Versailles girl, this fellow was out on bail, wasn't supposed to leave the city. And a stolen car hit her and killed her. Like, he wasn't even supposed to be out of the city. He should have been still in jail. And then to boot, when she went back and watched him go through the next court case, he was released and got out the next day. So there's a handful of these. Well, we had the incident in Brandon not that long ago. A young fella, he's 18, and it was about his 5th or 6th charge, violent offenses. Like, what's he on the street for? Why is? But we also always stress this just happens to be the avenue we're talking about, is bail reform with justice. It doesn't solve the problems.
No.
but that's what we're talking about. So there is a small window that we have to change those things. People that are addicted, like bad addictions, they get put on bail, and one of the parts of bail is don't do drugs. Well, surprise, a lot of them end up doing drugs again.
Yeah.
And so we're not even helping the people help themselves.
You know what was interesting, and I've read a couple articles where they were talking about bringing back. It was actually the asylum system that they had years ago, and they are bringing it back in the States in some areas. And the only reason that I can say there is good to it for sure. It was seen as inhumane at one time, sadly, because I mean the door locks behind you, but that happens in an old folks home too, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to go back to when I was 18 years old. I worked at a car dealership, and I still remember the truck that I sold, the young man that I sold it to. It was a regular cab B2000, 5-speed, 2-wheel drive, basic truck. And he came in on a Saturday, looked at this truck, liked it, came back the next weekend, brought his dad, looked at the truck, liked it. Yep, we're going to take it. Cool. But back then you couldn't do either banking or auto pack on the weekends. So I said, well, the address was just outside of town, a few miles. And I said, well, we can get this done on Monday and I can just bring it out to you. He goes, well, actually, I'm only out on the weekends. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, actually, I live at the hospital. I'm like, okay. And he had schizophrenia. And he said, no, he goes, I can't live at home by myself and I can't live with my parents full time. So I actually stay at the hospital from Monday to Thursday. Then I go help the farm Friday, Saturday, Sunday, come back. And of course, because I didn't know anything, I go, you drive? He goes, yeah, not at night. He goes, but I drive.
Yeah.
And we had a really good conversation about that. And he said, no, he goes, I know my limitations and I know that I would be a burden on my family, but this works. And I also remember kids that had problems when I was in junior high, and they were there and they got help. I mean, the jail, and I have jail guards that are clients, I have police that are clients. They're not qualified to deal with some of this stuff because mental health is a big, big issue. And so is addiction. Yeah. And that's where that's turning back in the States in a couple areas where it does make sense. Like it's a hospital setting with full care all the time. I think that it just needs to be a modern version of that. Maybe that's part of the solution. Who knows? But I mean, there has to be a better way that actually.
Yeah. So we do talk about that whole bigger picture all the time. Like the bail is just part of what we're talking about. Justice is just one department. Like it takes a bunch of departments working together.
Yeah.
Like the mental health, homelessness department, housing, families, all of those things. Because you can keep a lot of people out of the system. And there'll be lots of research now, and there'll be more and more going on the closure of the hospitals.
For sure. Yeah.
And they did serve a great purpose, and there's probably a large percentage of people that could have still stayed in places like that where they were safer for themselves, they're more productive for themselves, and others feel better. And so, because we do have a lot of people that are on the street, and Jayon, you work downtown there, I'm downtown there all the time.
Yeah.
These are not bad people. Unfortunately, they're
correct.
They're prey. They're not predators. They're prey.
Yeah.
And there are some folks there, and I'll use the example again of somebody who I grew up with. And I mean, I go to the gym early. I leave my house at 4.
Yeah, you're
driving around. Yeah, I am. And thanks. But
yeah, crazy.
I remember seeing this. I'm not going to mention names, but I remember seeing an old high school buddy of mine at the 7-Eleven. Just sort of saw him in the corner of my eye. And then when you see something, then you notice it again and again. Like if you drive a Ridgeline, right? So you don't notice a Ridgeline until you own a Ridgeline. Now you see Ridgelines all the time.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing him, then I spotted him again. And then I spotted him again. And it was more disheveled, more this, more that. And like a year went by, and I finally asked, hey, whatever happened to so-and-so? He's like, and my friend who also really grew up with him, the guy lived down on Silver Birch growing up. Like I knew him. Battled depression, and it was a Gen X kid. So the parents didn't want to hear about it. And met a girl, and that was great. The relationship fell apart, hit the bottom of a bottle, never came out, and he still wanders around to today. He's not a predator. He's a victim of circumstance, right?
Yeah. And so to have a better place for him somehow, some way that he can be as productive as he can for himself, And I got lots of friends that always say to, and myself, I've probably said it over the years. Well, just go, get a job somewhere. But I also say, guys, would you hire? Well, no, not with me. So,
Well, and,
Yeah.
and a lot of people are one day away, one bad day away.
Yeah, and I still do believe like if we can keep younger people away from things, the longer is possible.
Yeah.
Like, that's the big chunk of the battle, because beyond that, if you can kind of stay away to 25, kind of from a lot of things, then unfortunately it is some other trauma. Like it is an ugly divorce or a bankruptcy or an injury. Yeah. Actually, you'd be surprised how many people have gotten injured.
Well, that's true.
Onto some kind of drug.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, they're going south.
When it comes to pain, there's really two options when it comes down to it. You got your legal and illegal, and eventually you're going to be cut off of the legal ones. Yeah. And you're going to find some alternative that you're going to be able to get at some point in time. Yeah. That's
so there's those are kind of things that actually, and this is the interesting part of the discussion, because at the city we don't really do. Hi, Doug. I just see that Doug said hello, and now like Jeff Marks, I want to know what is behind Jay on.
Oh, tell him. It's genius.
That is a caffeine molecule. So it's perfect. Unless you mean that right there, and that's a lightsaber. Because
I was assuming it's probably the caffeine molecule. Yeah. Okay. But for us too at the municipal level, and this is tough. Like we don't collect taxes to do anything with those social services.
Right.
Like it's not inside. Well, no, that's not inside our
federal and provincial.
That's federal and provincial. Every time you're paying federal and provincial taxes, some of that's going to social services, hospital, like healthcare, all those kind of things. But we have to advocate and work as much as we can with our teams to make sure that we are taking care of people. Because right now, we are taxed quite good for reasons. Well, maybe we'll talk about that later too. Sure. But we might be finished before we do.
We'll have a future.
We got time.
But like we just don't. We don't tax for that. It's not. It's not. We have emergency services like police, fire, E911. We do streets. We do roads. We do green spaces. We do recreation. Those are the kind of things we do. And the other levels of government do things like housing and do things like social services, healthcare.
Well, and like I mentioned before with yourself, I mean, there's only so much bandwidth that can be taken up. Like there's only so much you can do.
Well, there is, but that's where you utilize other people that are really good at things. And I think it was David Brooks, the New York Times conservative writer. He said that politicians are either rippers or weavers, and like the rippers are kind of like, let's tear things apart. Yep. And the weavers are like, let's work. We got to work together. What do we do here? So like we work with our social service community as much as we can. They do unbelievable work. We have all kinds of people in need. And so that helps us when we're working with our federal or provincial partners, because they realize how much work people do out here. And it's easier to support, because like anybody, you want to be on the side that's winning. You want to say, I'm going to help support this group that's already doing, they're doing a good job and they could use more help. And, we're putting money where it's going to matter.
Well, and I also think that the side that's winning generally starts out with having the side that's trying, right? So you have more people helping, that side can be the side that's winning. And sometimes it's hard finding enough people to, I hate to say it, care these days.
Yeah, we have a lot to do.
People.
We have a lot to do. Hey, Jason Arnold, he's coming in from the coast.
Good really?
Man. Yeah. What's he got in here? Mental health, addiction, education, funding, and incentives to make it all work together, funded in rhythm. The puzzle pieces, private, public. Is it even? It is possible. There's no perfect solutions. Actually, he's got the old Brandonite Crystal out, and she's out in Victoria. She's a counselor in Victoria now. She's a massive champion for some of that stuff that's going on out there. Victoria and Vancouver obviously have real big issues.
So does Brandon tend to follow more of the models like that tend to happen in like the larger cities, or we try to focus on smaller cities that are like similar size, Moose Jaw and such?
Yeah, we collaborate with kind of everybody, but in Manitoba, we do a lot of Winnipeg on scale.
Mhm.
And actually, we can do a lot of things here because our scale is smaller, so you can try.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thompson.
Yeah.
We do a lot of Mayor Smook up in Thompson is, I'll tell you what, if you wanted to get a real, good character on a podcast, you get Smook on there. She's top notch.
So what are the positive, like, because right now Winnipeg's, like they've got the new dry out center. Is that something that is showing
So that's
benefits
that
to
Bill
be good?
48 or whatever, the 72-hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some upside in that. I think that they're having some issues around some of it, but our police service would tell you, like, we have the 24-hour, and if a person is high,
It's gonna take 48 hours at least.
You're putting them out back at 24 hours. They go back out, and they're still not sober. Know, and so there is that balance and life is a funny thing. Once you're over 18, you get to kind of make your own decisions. Like, even if your mom and dad said, your best interest is that you stay in there for 48 hours, or so, like, you can make your own
Check
choices.
yourself out. Yeah.
I remember watching an interview with. Has anybody watched Theo Vaughn before?
Theo Vaughn?
Yeah.
I actually don't know
if
I do know who he is. I'm aware of who he is. Yeah.
So I'm going. I again read another thing on alphas versus Zeds versus millennials versus Gen X, and I found this to be really, really interesting. And when I say there is a light at the end of this tunnel, and I'm not saying that there's not going to be collateral damage in between. Of course there are, because there's people our age and younger that are addicted and have got some major problems. But it was something that Theo Vaughn said to somebody, and then, okay, we're Gen Xers, and we've done some stuff, for sure we have. And he said this, and he said, you know what's too bad? He goes, it's too bad kids can't just try drugs. And his interview, he says, what? He goes, well, think about it. He goes, we did some shit in our day, and we tried things, but we lived to talk about it. And
they're different though. They're different.
Exactly. And that's the light at the end of the tunnel.
I would not suggest anybody to try.
No, I'm not suggesting anybody. But what I'm saying is that you've got this generation now that's coming, the alphas that are growing up, seeing that this is so insanely deadly, and the Zeds that know that this is insanely dangerous, they're not touching it for the most part, because it's not the what we did in the 90s was nothing. And we knew that it was nothing. Now the warnings are there. The reality is there. They're seeing it out there. I believe that fear should be able to crush a lot of the future addiction, because it's not safe. It's nothing safe anymore. So that's
it's not worth trying it once.
No, it's not worth trying it once, but that's the whole point. Was we did things that we lived through, and there's a real good chance that anybody trying anything now will not.
Yeah, and so again, back on the bail reform a little bit. Like, you talk to police, you talk to the judges, like, they will say, like, meth is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like, it is a nightmare in the court system. It's a nightmare in the policing system. It's a nightmare in the healthcare system. And the one thing I definitely agree with the premier on is he does not like dealers.
No.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him, man. That is the lowest form. That is the lowest form.
I agree.
Like, they should almost be charged with attempted murder if they get caught dealing meth, because that could kill a person anytime. Yeah. You don't know. You're rolling dice.
And that's
like it's like if everybody had a gun and you're selling bullets, and they just, okay, is this the one that gets me?
Absolutely Russian roulette, just on a wide scale of things, and they enjoy it, they love it, they're stuck into it.
Like I said, the guy that, what I'm saying, I'm not an advocate for any of this, but the guy that was selling a little bit of weed back in the day in the 90s is a different animal than the person that's selling meth with fentanyl today.
Yeah.
That old guy is still selling weed to the same buddies that he sold the weed back then.
Exactly.
And
Absolutely.
They're all probably safe.
Yeah.
I remember
on this though, you're on a point that I actually like to discuss. Because I don't drink anymore. I haven't drank in years, like a long time. I have to make decisions, and it's not that I don't like I had a book club and they like drinking their wine. I'll have a glass of wine with them. I'll have a Guinness here and there, and but I really just don't. I don't know how many days I have, and
Right.
I don't want to lose anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
And you know, and I like being on.
Yeah.
You know,
Why
yeah,
do
but,
things that make you worse, right? Why would you want to
Yeah.
do something that makes you worse?
Yeah,
I
and
can't
it
fucking
wasn't giving me
freaking rum right
pleasure.
now.
You know, it was giving a lot of other people pleasure, but it
Yeah.
wasn't giving me any pleasure anymore.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but at the same time, as a young guy, I like to go out with my friends and have a couple of drinks, you know, and you know, I think of the old Kinsman clubs. I think of all those guys. Like, it was a bit of the reason to get together.
Right.
Because like, I think of now, if you said, okay, hey, let's a bunch of us get together and we're going to sit there and we're going to very soberly think up ideas to do for the community. Like, nobody joins you. You know?
Right.
So
And
there was a reason they did it in the
so
Roman
it was
days,
kind of
right?
this little excuse. Like, you didn't have to go get drunk, but it was, and just like the historic sort of English pub scene and things like
Yeah.
that, there is like, we lost a little bit of that, because you can tell in this generation they don't drink much, and I think that's probably okay. But
Yeah.
where do you gather? Where do
Yeah.
you
You know what?
gather?
And we
Yeah.
we've talked about this before, and there's something very life lessons that are learned at, I'm going to say, a bar.
Yeah.
Things like getting shot down at the bar.
Oh yeah,
Not
Getting
just
rejected.
someone didn't swipe on you, actually
Yeah.
getting rejected or opening your mouth when you shouldn't have and having it closed for you. There are things that you do learn in that setting,
Yeah.
and there's
also
no doubt
safer
we've
to
all
do
learned.
with your buddies.
Oh, for
Because I'll tell you
sure.
what,
Yeah.
rejection is a lot easier if your buddies are there to say, it's all right, man. That's the
Yeah.
way it goes.
That's how you build resilience. You know,
Yeah.
that was how people built that capability of being rejected or hearing no. And I think a lot of kids just don't hear no enough. They haven't gotten good at getting that rejection.
So let's go back. So you're born and bred in Brandon, right? Like,
Oh,
you've
yeah.
been here
Yeah,
your
yeah.
whole life.
Yeah.
So
Made a
were
choice
you-
to stay.
Right. So were you a Thunder Mountain kid or a Velvet Rail kid?
I'd have been more down the Velvet Rail. Truth be told, I would go to like Shane Maharaj's place there as well. You know, I know Shane's not around anymore, but over by the 34th Street 7-Eleven, they used to have video games in there, and then Long John Silver.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, well, truth be told, is that we're in my neck of the woods. We just went to Kmart, to the big video game section at Kmart.
That's fair. Yes.
Yeah, we'd be
Your fifth
playing
full quarters,
Centipede with a whole bunch of quarters.
And you had
Yeah,
Nexties. You put it down. There was an honor system back then. I'm
Yeah.
next.
And again, that was gathering outside with everybody, and yeah, we
Something
don't
was
gather
lost.
quite to the extent that we once did.
We don't. And
Where
I
do
mean,
people gather now currently? I mean, what sort of environment do people tend to meet besides, you know, online, the metasphere, or whatever you want to call it? Is
Yeah.
there a place that people tend to connect?
I think we're looking at it. I think it's gone virtual. Like, it's interesting because we were
Was high voltage.
High voltage.
Arnold was there.
high voltage. Man, my parents hated that I went to the arcade. They hated it. They were like, "What are you doing blowing your money on the arcade?"
Yeah.
You know, your peer group is, as long as you got a good, strong peer group. You
Yeah.
know, we're very, very fortunate. But I do think that it is. The gathering places. I don't know where they are, like the clubs that, you know, existed during our time, and then the sock ops and that from earlier days.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where the gathering place is.
And
Right.
there used to be different levels of people, not different levels, but I remember I used to work at Barnacles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a great place.
And it was a
good.
pool hall. And
Yeah,
it was
Red Fox. The Red Fox.
yeah, you
right?
had the group that would be there on Thursdays, and another group that was there on Saturday, and never a problem.
Yeah.
And they were shooting pool all day.
I think the term they use now is called the third place, right? And
Yeah,
people
that's
are
the
striving to find
Starbucks
the third
term.
place.
I think that was
Yeah.
Schultz that referred to Starbucks originally as the third place.
Okay,
You know, and I guess you can go take that all the way back to Ulysses. The third place in Dublin was 8 hours work, 8 hours at the bar, 8 hours sleeping.
It sounds
That
good
makes
to me. I like that idea.
That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
But what else is there to do in Dublin? You know, you eat, drink, fight, and work, right?
yeah. It is. But but I do wonder, like, just that little bit, like, so I know that we all advocate for like really healthy living and all that kind of stuff, but there is something, particularly when you're young and when you're older too, like, where do you gather? Where do you go and have? Because there was something about going and having a few beers with your friends or a few drinks.
Yeah.
Kind of for some people, they needed that edge off. I also found out I didn't need the edge off. I was comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, I woke up with the edge off, so I didn't need to, dampen that edge anymore.
And we used to also have, there was my very first job, I worked at the Rolling Pin dishwasher, right, at 12. There was something on Sundays, Sunday mornings and Saturday mornings. There was always these groups that would come into these restaurants, and there was always a breakfast crowd, a big breakfast crowd every Sunday. So going back, what would have been your go-to place? Like I remember the Golden Pierogi,
the Rolling Pin.
There, Rolling Pin was pretty good, right?
That was the best hangover place you got in town, right?
Right?
Yeah. I was a simple kid, like, the Mike, Steves, Kev Grindy, and I, like, we were just going to 7-Eleven, hanging out there. We got kicked out of 7-Eleven. I remember Kevin and I went down to Checkers Submarine one time, and they made us buy stuff, and we thought, we can never afford to come back here.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I remember at 7-Eleven started playing opera music, so the kids would stop hanging out there.
Yeah. I always thought that was odd too, because it's just like they're playing classic.
Yeah.
But again, even that hangout.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just that hangout. You sit around with a bunch of friends, and you're with a bunch of your buddies, and a bunch of the girls are there from school as well, and you can kind of talk, and it was opportunity, and we don't create that space as well anymore.
Correct.
And it's happened. There's this connection that we have, this instant that's disconnecting us in other ways. Like our kids we are elbow deep in Stranger Things. I don't know if you've watched it. It's probably one of the best.
My oldest boy is very engaged.
Yeah, it's really well done. Like I mean, they understood the assignment. They nailed it. And Gage looked at me one day, like a week ago. He goes, "Dad, I wish I could have grown up in 1986." I'm like, "Yes, you do.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Yes, you do. You were gone on your bikes, and we didn't know where. My parents had no idea where we were, and we were fine."
Yeah.
It's sort of like we have a seasonal campground. The kids are gone. We don't know where you are.
Yeah.
Bye. Just come back to eat. And that was it.
Yeah.
And that freedom is not there anymore. And that camaraderie that these kids had sneaking off to Sev isn't there.
Well, there's a lot of fear, right? People fear that somebody is going to kidnap your child, that there's predators out there. They've got the white van with the free candy on the side that's out there to grab.
Which was a legit concern when we were young.
Yeah.
It's not
absolutely.
like we were fearless. Like, we all learned how to go under our desk in case of nuclear war.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we all did make mistakes now. But just times have changed. And there was a book. Actually, I read it in the Mayor's Book Club, and we had a lot of the university people and educators. The Anxious Generation, Jonathan Haidt.
Yeah.
And it's a lot about technology, but there's actually a big section of it that gets overlooked, and it's about play, like active play, walking to school.
Yeah.
Like, like everybody drives kids to school. Not everybody. There's a lot of kids that walk, and I'm really glad they do. Like, I loved walking to school. Like, that was, you're walking with your buddies, you're walking home. Some days it's 5 minutes, some days it's 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You talk about all kinds of,
and just talk to your friends, right?
and you do little things like learn how to interact with, you heard a funny joke, you try it on your friend, it goes really bad, you actually offended him, and that because you can see it on his face.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, okay, we'll do that again. I'm learning stuff here with my friend.
Yeah.
Versus if you text it to him, you don't see his face.
Right.
So that interaction was really good. I think that we need to make sure that kids are allowed to play.
Yeah.
And now we text each other memes and then look from across the room to see if they're reacting to it.
Yeah.
See, that's one of the biggest things at school. Like, the benefits of school is it socializes the children. Like, on one hand, I get it. You're teaching kids things. You're also teaching them how to socialize with other people, what's acceptable, what isn't acceptable.
Yeah, I think we saw that significantly during COVID, particularly at the university level and things like that as well. That it is a place to learn, but it's also a place to socialize. It's a place
networking. It's a great place to network.
To learn who you are, how you work with other people, how to communicate, and
More importantly,
Yeah.
what do you do if you offend somebody? You get somebody upset and you have to deal with it. Unfortunately, we've really focused on trying to create these safe places for a lot of people, which it takes away that social responsibility.
And we did lock our phones away at the schools in here. And actually, I was pleased to hear that there was not a lot of pushback. I talked to a number of teachers because we do meet on a semi-annual basis with the school division, talk about things together. But like the big thing was some people, they wanted headphones. They wanted it was just for learning. I want to hear something. I want to, and so they made accommodation. For different things, I think some might have had a Walkman, but it was just because it actually served a purpose. Now I don't know what that means for people after school, like it's later in the day. Are you on there more? But it wasn't in school. It wasn't bad, and I actually was concerned that there might be some in that sort of later elementary school, the 7, 8s and the 9, 10s that in there that almost might have suffered withdrawal-like symptoms. But I'm told that it was actually like people were very willing to give those things up.
That's great.
We had different things in our schools. Like you guys, I went to Massey, then I went to junior high Massey, then I went to Crocus, then I went back to Massey. Yeah. Where did you guys go to high school?
I was at Crocus Plains. We were on the football team. Our football team's in the Manitoba Hall of Fame.
Right. So, okay.
Yeah. Grindy, Steve, Shoalways, the Pink Boys, Boyd.
Right.
Green.
Now,
Martin,
Crocus. Now, what did Crocus have? And we talk about social space.
It had the football team.
Yeah. I was on the football team.
Nobody else did.
Yeah. Right. But here's a fun fact. Massey has a team because of me and 5 other guys who petitioned to get that team started back in the day. That's why there's a team event to Massey now. But
Grindy's
that's a good point.
Grindy's was the first coach.
But we had social spaces in these spots. Okay. Massey had the benches by the entrances, right? Remember there was the line of benches right when you walked in between the door and the library.
Yeah.
Crocus had the cafeteria.
Yeah.
You had a table that was
your man. It just had the hallways.
Right. But there's always
the hallways are strong enough too, but there's always a space at a table somewhere too.
Yeah.
But that's where you hung out. You hung out there. Maybe you're skipping class, but you hung out there. You ate a pizza bun and you hung out.
Yeah.
But I mean, we had these spots or the smoking corner, there was that too.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a thing.
Oh yeah. Mr. Perkin will be out there with his pipe.
Oh, for
But you know what? I'm going to go back to the football team for a second because I want to let you know a little bit of where I learned about some leadership. And I'm not going to claim to be like I know a lot about leadership and things, but when I played on the football team that was the first team to win the Manitoba title, the Winnipeg title, outside the city of Winnipeg, we went undefeated. We were really good, but our best players were great guys. So Kevin Boyd, who's no longer with us anymore, and Scott Moore, like these guys in particular, but we had lots of guys, but they were the best guys. Like they loved us. They loved everybody on that team. They worked harder than anybody else. They pulled for you. You'd go through a wall for those guys. Like they were not jerks. And yet they were kids. Like they didn't have leadership skills in the sense of, I've learned to do this or I've learned to do that. They loved to play. They love that you were working hard. Yeah. And when I watch other teams, sometimes I think, okay, are the best players, are they making it better for everybody else?
Right.
Are they loving it? Would people go through the wall for them? Would they go to the wall for the other guys? And it was, I didn't realize it until after.
There's one thing
that kind of stuff was.
There's something about football too, because that was the first sport that I ever played on a team. And I was fat, I was lazy, and I was asthmatic, but I was big. And someone said, you should really get into football. I'm like, are you kidding me? I can barely run across the hallway. And football it's such a team that's so accepting of everybody who's got the grapes to put that helmet on.
Yeah.
What position did you play, Jeff?
I was backup quarterback on the team that won.
Of course.
And I remember when I was Andrew Granger was out. And so, but I also played different positions. I would play receiver. I would play cornerback, halfback, you know. So, but we hadn't been scored on for about 5 or 6 games. Hadn't even been scored on.
Nice.
And I threw an interception for a touchdown against St. Paul's at the university. I'm coming off the field, and the big defensive boys coming out going, "Still haven't scored on us. Still haven't scored on us."
And you'll never forget that. That's the best thing about football. And it was that first place where you were accepted. Doesn't matter how big you were, how small you were.
I'm going to tell you this, and I'll speak about people like Kevin Grundy's of the world, who I don't know if you guys know Kevin.
Oh yeah.
Like this is a salt of the earth people. These are the best people around. And he was the football coach at Massey for years and years and years. Him and Steve's and all that.
Yep.
And I was doing some subbing at Massey one time, and Kevin and I. This is when they still had grade 8s there.
Yep.
So you know how they got rid of 7s and they got rid of 8s, but the grade 8s were still there. And the two grade 8 kids. One fellow, pretty big boy. Like he's a big boy.
Yeah.
And he's with another guy that's half his size and about a third his weight. And they come up and they go to Mr. Grundy. "Mr. Grundy, we're going to be playing football on your team next year." And he looks at these guys and goes, "You bet you are, guys. Like, absolutely you are." And then we're leaving. He goes, "I love football because those guys are going to play on our team. They are going to be part of our team. They're not making the basketball team. They're not making the volleyball team.
Yeah.
They will be part of our team. And for 4 years, they'll be part of our team."
So you were a teacher.
I have a teaching degree. I'm a little, I knew I was having children, and I was curious what teachers knew. So it's maybe an unnecessary parenting class, like 2 year. But I already had the business, and I had my other degrees, and I kind of thought, man, that's interesting. I would like to know. And the school accommodated me very well.
Right.
And but I was never going to teach.
Right.
But I had the opportunity to sub sometimes, and I loved going in and subbing, and but I was never going to teach. But and I did learn a lot, and I honestly I think it did actually help me raising my boys. But not everybody can go do that.
So you spoke about leadership. Okay, so like leadership is an interesting thing, because it's almost like some people have it, some people don't, some people think they have it, and some people most definitely don't. So what do you think, like when it comes to a good leader, what is it that they're doing when like there's no one watching? What separates them from the regular people who don't have that capacity? Like, why are they different as human beings?
I don't know. Like leaders can show up in all kinds of different times and forms, and there's sometimes a leader for a time, and not for another time. You see that in sports. You see that in politics. Mm-hmm. Right? Like Winston Churchill was not a great leader until he needed to be the leader. At the time, he was the leader.
Correct.
There's certain coaches that work with young people, and there's others that work with older people. But so how do you? I think one of the things is you treat everybody well. You treat everybody well. There has to be a trust relationships, and when you're alone, you would do the things that you'd expect a person would be doing when they're alone. Like they behave that way. That's who they are.
Right.
They actually do pick up that stuff, or they will help you out. They don't need pats on the back all the time.
Right.
They don't need the credit.
There was a study that came out that they were talking about the most popular people in schools weren't necessarily the strongest, the fastest, the best looking. They were the ones who were the kindest to the most people.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah.
Kind of a leadership in its own form.
Well, for sure it is.
Yeah.
But they might not have been looking to lead. It's again like the boys in the football team. They were looking to lead. I'll tell you one of my little leadership things. I always think of it. You can call it leadership thing, but I always do a reflection on, like, it's the window in the mirror.
Right.
Yeah.
When things are going really good, you look out the window and you recognize everybody that's assisting, everybody that's playing their role and getting that. When things are going really bad, you start by looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of us do that the opposite way.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Find somebody to blame as opposed to looking deep inside of what you're doing.
So if things aren't going good, believe me, it's not just you.
Yeah.
There's others, and know that. Know that so you can help. Know that so you can champion for them. No, they're just like I said about Scott Gillingham there. You know, like Sherilyn Knox had the story, unfortunately, but she also had the voice. She was the right person to take things forward. What she just really needed was the backing of some people. And like, so when the biggest city mayor, he says, I got your back. Like, you've got the story here. You go for it.
Yeah.
I got you. Then you go for it. Somebody's got my back. And it ended up getting all the premiers in the province to sign a bail reform letter.
Wow.
Like all the premiers across the country.
Yeah.
And so it's good.
When is the last time you've seen this kind of got your back mentality between this city? Like, I don't think I've ever seen it where you guys are actually like, it seems like everybody's working together really well. And there's not a lot of, I hate to say it, like taking pot shots at each other. I've never seen
we're
it.
pulling together. We're pulling together. I'll tell you, like I'm very fortunate. I'm part of the cities caucus. There's 10 mayors, like 10 cities in Manitoba. Right. Yeah. Like that includes Flin Flon and Winnipeg.
Right.
So they're not all identical.
No.
Right. Yeah. Very different.
But,
different problems, different people. Yeah.
Very different. But I only have known that. Like, so I've only been part of that for 3 years, and I only had known them for like working together. I do give extra credit to Mayor Gillingham because I do know historically Winnipeg doesn't even show up.
Really?
And just like parenting, just like anything, like it starts with showing up.
Right.
And
what do you mean they don't show up?
Like if we do our AMM conferences in Brandon, like it was unlikely that the Winnipeg mayor was coming.
Oh, like literally just not show up, not
literally not show up.
Mentally, they're just like literally not being presence. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's not.
So that makes a big deal. Like, because everybody knows that, okay, this is a guy that has, this operates the biggest city, and takes time for everybody, treats everybody like they all have something to say, respects everybody, and it makes it, you pretty much it's kind of like, well, I'm going to fall in line. Because, boy, wouldn't I look like a jerk if I didn't? Like,
well, that really reinforces the whole. That's the perimeteritis,
And I love our people. Like I enjoy the guys out in Steinbach, Selkirk, Winkler, Morden there. Like that's who, and we challenge each other. Like they all think, like their thing is like, oh, we want to get bigger than Brandon as a collective out here. We're gonna try and get these things, and we're like, no, we're doing it. We're gonna do it. But I love when they get stuff. They love when we get stuff. Because ultimately they want everybody to do the best they can, and we talk. Because I'll tell you, mayor's a lonely gig. You didn't realize to the extent. I had a little sit down. I invited all the mayors. Sherry wasn't able to come, but I had the Gretsch, Atkinson, Crass, Burgess, and Broadsick, and we all sat down. We had lunch in the office. Because that's it. That's the only living mayors in our city.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
And you do have some strange, weird experiences. Like you're alone some days.
Yeah.
And so it is nice to have Scott and Sherilyn and I have been going back and forth today because we were strangely enough recognized for that. It was the inaugural one. It was almost like getting the FIFA Peace Prize. I felt like how legit is this?
Yeah.
So what? Let's look at that. I mean, what does a day off look like for you? Really? Like if you could peel away 5 hours that's yours, what would you be doing?
I go I'd hang out with the Jode. I love hanging out with the Jode.
Right.
It's my favorite person.
Right.
And then honestly, I'd go for a run. Just for a long run somewhere, man. I just run and run and run.
You'll do that in this weather?
Oh yeah.
I think you're the mayor that's known for running downtown. You're the only mayor known for exercising downtown.
Yeah. And honestly, it's not been as good as it should be. My dad's on me all the time about that. Like I saw Jay on at the Y the other day. My schedule's awful. Like I need to do what you're doing, Quentin, but I don't want to be that crazy.
What am I doing?
Go at like 4 a.m, except for I generally sleep then.
Here's the thing.
Most people do.
This habit started years ago, and I'll quickly rewind. I was tremendously overweight, and I used to start work at 7 a.m. So the only time I could go to the gym was like at 5:30, and then it turned into 5, and then it turned into 4. And I like to get that done before the world wakes up, before my kids wake up. I don't take that time away from my family. I'd rather get it done before they get up, right?
Yeah.
But,
I play tennis and not golf for that exact same reason. Because like historically, I've always worked all the time, being a small business owner and that. Like you just go all the time. And I'd go to the cottage, and I think, okay, I hardly see my boys during the week. I can go golf for 5 hours, or I can go play tennis for 1.
Yeah. When people
now
get
my
on
boys are golfing, so I can play tennis for 3 hours if I want.
Right, but I mean, our kids are still young. And I've had people ask me. I hear this. I get asked to go, like, sometimes I get asked to go to golf tournaments, and I am the worst golfer. Like, horrible.
I'd give you a run for your money.
Do you know what? You take 20 balls, I'll take 20 balls. Who runs out first? Because guaranteed.
Well, I need about 20 shots. So
nice. 18 holes played, 20 balls lost.
Yeah.
But I can't do I can't take 4 hours to play a game.
No.
But
you know what? The guys that do love it. My youngest guy he's only 21. He's worked for 8 years at the Clear Lake Golf Course. That guy loves it, and I'll tell you, I love that he works up there too. Yeah. That's a great job.
Yeah, you get to meet the people. You get to meet
the people. And he golfs with everybody.
Yeah,
and he only works with like young people like him that really want to be there. They want that job, or old guys that really want to be there because they don't need that job.
Yeah.
Like there's nobody that doesn't like their job where he works.
That's the perfect situation for like-minded people, right? You're going to find people exactly that you're going to suit with, right?
Now, he did also tell me this, though, which makes me concerned sometimes. He said, Dad, I know what I want to do, I think. I'm going to work at the golf course all through university. Then I'm going to do something else. But then I'm going to go back and work at the golf course when I'm retired.
Yeah.
I said, well, that sounds great. You skipped the one piece.
Yeah.
That's reasonably significant. Do something else for 35 years.
The career and life, right?
Yeah.
We should do one of these.
But at the same time, he's seen that whole other end too, because he's all the old guys that are golfing out there, and some were doctors, some were just a trucker, some were just work for the municipality, some were whatever, and they're all out there playing on the same course.
He's bookending it. That's perfect. Because most people they look at it as like another day at a time, just going to go on autopilot and work until I die, as opposed to having a real goal and a real plan for what they do when they finish their capacity.
I'll tell
you to a Zumba class, by the way.
Yeah. Well, Parlo always wants me in there too, and I could try. I could try. I'm not that fluid with that. I can try, and you invite me once because once they see how much I sweat when I do those things, they'll be
just
like,
puddle.
Okay, yeah. I used to do the warm yoga, and
swimming pool, eh?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and the girls would be in there and they'd get damp, and I would come up like this and look in the mirror. And I'm thinking, like, it looks like I'm coming out of a pool. Like, I'm just soaked.
It's wringing out your shirt.
Yeah, right? Nobody thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, they do it effortlessly, and myself, like my mascara would be everywhere. It's just everywhere. Just a mess.
But you know what?
You're buying the wrong mascara there, man. Right?
I have not done a good job in the last year and a half or so of keeping myself healthy.
But you've been insanely busy, Jeff.
Yeah, but I still got to figure out that, and I will. My dad's all over me. I am doing I'm trying to do 6 o'clock at the gym. And if I miss, which I have a few, Terry Parlo, our fire chief, is very good about just gently reminding me, I didn't catch you there today. Or, I asked them to to see if your card had been through the last few days, and they didn't seem to see it. Yeah. And, that's not the worst thing, because he knows, that's good for mental health.
Yeah.
That is good for my physical health. But it's actually, I bet you it's 80% mental.
But to be fair, Jeff,
how a gym should be a base rate, and it gets cheaper as you go more often, and more expensive if you don't show up. Right?
That would be great.
Yeah, because the burden on the healthcare system would make
But isn't it true that isn't that true that that's like 3 of us all go to the gym. That's your only real you time. That's that time you get. You get
You
that.
know, I get a bit of time. Like sometimes if I have a little window, like I still like popping into the coffee shops and reading my book, and I don't mind people coming up and talking. And usually, like if I stop in Forbidden Flavors, people will let you read. They'll just say hello and talk to you a bit. When I stop into Che Angela, like I don't get to read. Which is fine. It just it's not that they're any busier. It's just a different clientele. You know, I like to. But that's okay. It's I don't mind being busy in a public figure.
So
and
3 years, 3 years you beat mayor, right? So
Mhm.
3 years being going to coffee shops and doing his self-care and things like that. Like, have you burnt out at all?
I was at one point I did. Yeah.
Really?
What did you do?
Actually, about a year ago.
Okay.
I did. I was exhausted. Like I was mentally just run down. I was completely burnt out.
What did you do? How did you get through this? What would you tell somebody how to avoid it? Or to,
Well, conveniently, I've got the Jode. You know, who I can talk to about that. And she's good about just being the Jode. She just makes it work. I wasn't getting exercise, which made a difference. And then I go to the gym, and I know a psychologist that goes there. So I just popped in to talk to her a few times. I said, hey, you know what? I should come in and just let it out. And he said, yeah, do that. So I didn't mind because I knew I needed some. Like I was burnt out. There's a lot of things going on. A lot of things get put on you. You know. And you need to show up. Yeah. Right. And so when those kind of situations, like nobody else is knowing. Other than the Jode and at home, but conveniently, unlike some people maybe can't say that to their partners. Like,
that's fair.
You know.
So what would you tell a person to avoid burnout, or somebody who's right on the edge? What would you tell them that helped you get through those times?
I'm one of those bad parents. You do as I say, not as I do. You know?
Well, aren't we all? Yeah.
I would say you go. But you know what? As a business owner, and that I would do that kind of stuff. I would say, you know what? No, you guys go. I'll get this. I got it. I'll finish it. You guys got to go because it's really important. You make sure you get to that soccer game. You make sure you get to that. And no, I can do it. And I think I would tell people to just say, you got to block out time. But I'll tell you, that's 6 a.m. That 6 a.m. is so far. I've never been scheduled for a meeting at 6 a.m.
That's good.
But I've got I only have a couple of things in my schedule for me. Like I've had about 20 years or so. I've had a Friday lunch with a couple of buddies. It's in my schedule every Friday.
Right.
I don't get to too many anymore.
Right.
Because things get booked over it. Like you can't sort of leave a police board meeting halfway through to say, hey, I'm just going to pop out for a lunch, or the premier's coming through and wants to do an announcement. Say, hey, could you tell him I got a lunch with friends? Yeah.
Well, I think that when you did touch on this, and I think that you
make him wait.
Right. But I think that Jeff, you touched on this, and it makes I don't know the ins and outs of what happens during your day. However, your wife is your anchor. My wife is mine. Jay's is probably his. And they know if you're burning out. And they'll call it before you see it.
Yeah, and my mom and dad, like, you know, like I like, if you know my mom, like I come by what I do completely honestly. Like it is bred in the bone. It's a genetic problem. And my boys are also good. My boys will call me out on things.
Right. I think we need that. We need to be grounded. Yeah. We need to someone to
and
say,
they would expect the same from me.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that's and I actually have a lot of good people we work with. And I've tried to tell that even just through our council, because life can get heavy. Yep. And like most of them still work pretty much full time.
Yep.
Plus this sort of other time that gets you busy. And I do tell them, you got to take care of yourself. Like if you like, and there's been once or twice this year that I've had a counselor that has sent a message to me saying, "No, I don't think I can do the meeting tonight." And like more for like a mental health.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, absolutely, man. That is fine. That is fine.
Yeah.
And I think that lots of them don't understand what they're getting into when they're getting into it, because, I mean, when I ran, didn't win, but when I ran, I thought, okay, it's a meeting a month, can't be that bad. Maybe 2 meetings a month, can't be that bad. 4 meetings a month, no big deal.
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of little meetings that happen between those meetings, and it's another meeting between those meetings. And I think that you have to be in it, ready to work harder than you expected to. And I could see where that would be the turning point for some people. Like, what did I sign up for? I didn't think it was going to be this.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah.
Actually, now we'll talk to that, because this is one of the things that I've really, really enjoyed the last while is we have that Her Seat at the Table group that's doing stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. And here's what I also like is, like, for, as I said, about 20 some years, I've been eating lunch with buddies. Yeah. And, we used to eat in Remington's in a little private room there. Then Remington's got closed down. Yeah. And then we went to Blue. Yeah. We were in there for a while. They got closed down.
It just closed down. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we were briefly over at Brown's.
It's like your group.
Then they got closed down.
And nervously for Chad, we go to Joe Beaver's, and we have we sit in a little room, and then one time I went into the room, and it's like, oh no, you guys are in the main area over there, and it's because Tracy and her girls were in the room. I thought, oh, okay, right on. I like that. You kicked these guys out, and it was good. But I met with like I don't know if you know Tracy and her women's group there, but very powerful.
Tracy
Baker.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Works with Donnie and them. Yeah. And so they've been meeting for years. Historically, it was mostly business.
Yeah.
Now it's lots of professionals and that. But again, like a good collection of people doing lots of stuff in the community. And I asked Tracy after I got elected, could I come and have lunch with the group? And I had long enough hair; I fit in just perfect, and everybody was
a couple of pigtails in your head.
But one of the things I did ask them,
and you're good.
One of the things I did ask right off the bat, they asked me to like speak to them because they have people come and talk at their groups then. And I threw out the question. I said, I don't know why, and you're all professionals in New York. Why do women not run for council in Brandon?
Yeah,
they run all over.
That's a good question.
Even just the last school board, I think it was 50-50.
Yeah.
I think the school board's 50-50, and it's never been an issue. Yeah, lots of mayors are women that I work with, and it wasn't on council. They didn't even run much.
Yeah.
And so now it all goes to them. And we had a little bit of discussion. Nobody really knew in that. And then they took it on. They kind of said, what the hell? Why don't women run for this? And so they kind of got into this thing. And I'm really pleased because maybe they won't get anybody else running, but they certainly got a lot more people talking about it.
Yes.
And I think it would be a lot more interesting if you had.
And I've learned things in my discussions with them too. And Quentin, you can speak to this too. When you run for council, you feel you got to know everything. And the reality is you know almost nothing.
Well,
and that's okay. But I think that's what everybody needs to know. That's okay. Just say, I don't know about that yet. I'm involved in a lot of things. I'll learn that.
Yeah.
They think you need to be expert in everything. You need to figure out stuff. You need to, but it's okay to say, I'm not really sure how that works. But I'll find that out.
Too much perfection, right?
I went the opposite direction when I ran. And here's the thing. I did well. I just didn't beat Barry. Like I did very well.
Tough.
Yeah.
Right. So I went the opposite direction with that, Jeff. I said, I have no idea. But I wrote down every single thing that everybody said. And I walked around with that notebook every single time that I knocked on any door. And I said, you know what? I'm going to this is what you guys want to know. This is what I have to do. This is why I'm running.
Yeah.
You have questions. My job is going to get the answers. I have no idea how this stuff works.
Yeah.
But, and that was it. I think here's the thing. I'd rather say I don't know when I don't know.
How are
Yeah.
you supposed to have the capacity to know everything, especially since you don't have the job?
I learned that too. I learned that too one time. And if some of the older people are still on here, if they're on here, I was working one summer at Carnation. It was called. They go to Carby doing the potatoes. I was running the manual blancher.
Nice.
It was quite a
Yay.
job. and so I was going out there. I was with my friend Stan Yachts, Mark Gillis, and Chris Brenneman, who's probably going to retire soon as a doctor in Hamiota. But I remember we were having a discussion in the car. I think Stan and Gail were asked a question, and I gave the longest-winded answer to a question I didn't know. And I was all over the place, and I was given like this and that, da 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 da. And I said, "What do you think, Chris?" And he looks at me and goes, "I don't know." I thought, "Oh, damn! I should have used that answer. That's so much better than mine."
There was a line that my dad used to tell me, and I believe that, and I use this as often as I can, believe it or not, because I'm pretty long-winded. We said, "Be smart enough to know how dumb you are sometimes."
Yeah.
Because if you don't know, just shut your mouth. Like, stop.
And I used to, that's the other thing about like things like city council, things that you guys are doing, is the lust for learning. Like, you guys didn't know anything about how to even do this stuff.
Yeah.
And in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you'll think, "Oh man, why were we not doing it this way or that way?" You're constantly learning.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm genuinely curious about people. That's my thing. I love knowing about people. Like Amber just hopped in. Amber, you need to run for city council. Do it. Just say you're gonna, and then I'll be the worst campaign manager you've ever had. So shifting away, let's shift out of this for 2 shakes. Christmas is coming. What you're going to have a minute to yourself with your family. What is your favorite tradition that happens in the Fawcett household that it'd be weird if it didn't happen, even if it's the dumbest thing? Like, what's the one thing you're like, yeah, we do this and it doesn't make any sense, but we love it?
Well, this is something I wasn't aware of for years, but the Jode's got like pictures every morning.
She's got it down.
Yeah. But
just show up. You don't need to know it all.
No, I would wear the same sort of house pants, like for like the first 12 years of my kid's life. and it's like, I think one year I didn't have them on, and they're like, "What? Like, where's your?" And I wasn't even aware of it. So there's just things like that. But we'll have family over on the 24th. We just get to do brother stuff. And my mom and dad are still around. It's their 60th anniversary on the 28th.
Nice.
And I just love that. My one brother will come home on the 26th from Winnipeg with his 3 young boys, and I love that because 3 young guys, it's a lot of energy. Yeah, and I love it. And then the Jode and I actually we'll just pop up to the cottage probably later on the 28th for a couple of days.
Nice.
And it's just the 2 of us quiet up there, and that's all I need.
Nice. So snowshoe or skiing then?
I'll run.
Ooh. Run.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
So let's see if we can get everybody in trouble for a second.
I'll snowshoe with the Jode.
Yeah.
There you go.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah.
This question came up sometime today, and I'm going to ask everybody here because I said it and nobody knew what I was talking about. And be honest, what is one dish that gets put on the Christmas table that you wish someone would just stop making? I'll go first. A tomato ass pick. My mom used to make this stuff. It was like jelly tomato soup.
They make that.
Anything called ass pick is.
My dad loved this stuff.
They still make that.
I know what you mean. Yeah, actually,
Jesus.
I just need to not eat some of the things that are put on the table. There's nothing I don't like on there.
Everything's good. It's just the problem is some of the stuff is too good.
Yeah, that's the other dilemma as a mayor. I go to a lot of meals.
Do you get a lot of dainty trays coming your way?
What's that?
You get a lot of dainty trays and stuff, like just that you have to go and eat everywhere you go.
No. I go for meals. Like I've had a Jamaican Christmas party. Filipino
Christmas dinner party. And everything.
Yeah.
Or do you do I assume you do the Christmas dinner, right?
Yeah. I'll be out there. But then there's like lots of like events, and you get meals. And so sometimes you can be at things where you end up with like 2 or 3 meals a night,
Yeah.
And,
Right.
and so at times you actually, like I've gotten better. I think it was Mila Mulrooney that was the master of moving stuff around her plate without eating, you know, and once you're into your third meal, possibly at a thing, you're just moving stuff around.
And you know you're making a noise when you get up and when you sit down, like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then the other times you can miss the meal on every one of them. So
Well, and then when you're
hit all three and didn't get any of the meals.
Yeah.
well, and when you're at a cultural event, it's you don't know what this is in front of you.
I'm good
But
with
you
that.
almost
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. The Jode does her best. She's polite about everything. And we were meeting with a Taiwanese group in Toronto one time, and with the Jode. She had to say to the one guy, "You know what? It might be better if you don't explain it to me."
So the first lady, does the first lady go to all the meals then?
No, she's the Jode's good. She picks and chooses, and she works. Like Jode works at the hospital. She's, so she's just not available sometimes, and she picks and chooses when she goes. Yeah, she does go to a lot though. She
Oh, you got look at there's one of the counselors is actually on too.
You got some chat here.
nice.
Describe the Christmas dinner because I think you got some people asking. And Heather, oh my God, Heather.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
First
So it's at the
Christmas
Victoria Inn there. It's at the Victoria Inn. Oh, and actually, just so everybody knows, Helping Hands, who is desperately in need of money, did get money from the province today.
Really?
So,
that's
yeah.
good.
So the province was doing that sale of American alcohol.
Right.
And then they were taking some profits or whatever, and they were going to be giving it to those groups. So Brandon did get $500,000 to Christmas Cheer, which they'll distribute to some of the other community groups as well.
Wow.
And I think there was sort of 600,000 that was dispersed between a few others, and one of them was Helping Hands, which received an extra 200,000.
Yeah.
That is an excellent organization.
I feel like I did my part yesterday by buying a giant bottle of bourbon, but it still doesn't feel like I did a part.
Yeah. Well, sometimes the elbows up does have a good local effect too, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So and that is needed. Like those places, they work so hard. And for those guys, I really feel for them right now. And again, like we don't collect taxes for that stuff.
Right.
But because they run extremely good shape, but they own a building, and so they do two things. They get food for people every day. Over 200 people a day coming in there for meals. For the lunch, and they do that excellent. But their other thing that they have is the operations of this building, and this operations of that building is taking up more. It's become the bigger job of the two.
Yeah,
and
really?
Just because it's an old building, and they had to do the roof. So it takes away from that core service that they want to do because they got to grow those buildings. So I think that money from the province there is a real.
When you're a landlord, it gets difficult. It gets pretty costly. Yeah. It sounds good to get a building, then all of a sudden you realize, well, somebody's got to maintain it and look after it.
Yeah,
even a charity.
And they doing that, but it's just they're having to put
expensive.
A lot into that.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
So if you want to support Helping Hands, please do.
And sometimes I believe sometimes people don't realize how much it's actually appreciated. Now I say this because Kelsey, my wife, she works over at Precision Dental, and they put together a hamper. Like they all put stuff together and went to a family. And I guess when the hamper was brought to this family, the joy on their faces was appreciated. They're like, oh my God. It was like this, again, big 20-pound bag of potatoes and a stuffy for the kids and this, and mitts and gloves and toques and stuff. And we take so much for granted. And the fact that there are people that will not have a Christmas dinner and their kids will have nothing under their tree. We don't get it. We don't get it. Yeah. And there are people who say, well, maybe they should just tell you what. When they saw this family receive this hamper, and I know it's charity, but it's not charity. You're trying to do something right. And people do really need it, and they really do appreciate it. It's there's two sides to that point,
And
right?
so also, if you're able to volunteer with Christmas Cheer, that's an exceptional group of people in there, and some of them are getting older. So we need to make sure that we continue with a strong volunteer base. But they put out so much. They really do a heck of a job. I'm so impressed by that group as well. And they get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of those hampers out. It's good, and there's a value. There's a real big value to that.
Yeah. Now, is it too late for people to get hampers, drop off donations, or anything like that?
I don't. I think their big deliveries were actually today and yesterday.
Yeah.
Right.
Which was just horrible weather.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think that was mostly it. But you can still pop down there, see if there's anything. And I do know some of the churches still do that kind of stuff. Helping Hands will take anything. Samaritan House, those places.
I know our kids go to St. Augustine's and they have the St. Paul. Like they have the same thing. They bring in donations and they give it to families. And you would be shocked as to those things that you think you're just going to drop off at. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Valley, but the things you're thinking of taking there, these places will take that too. They could use your deep fryer. They could use your this, and somebody's going to want it and need it, and they don't have it. I was actually at our daughter's Christmas concert the other day, and there was a gentleman there who's been sort of nudging me into nights. I'm like, I didn't have enough time. Then we're at this concert, and the Gage volunteers to hand out. Here's the thing: over his lunch hour, he was they had coats, like a rack of coats, and he was just pulling the rack of coats out, and they were gone before he could get them where they had to go. He's like, I didn't realize there's that many people that didn't have jackets, Dad. I'm like, dude, dig into your coat closet, kid. Like, let's get them some.
Yeah.
So I am actually going to volunteer with Knights because I think that it is a good organization and they do a lot of good for people.
Yeah, and to be selfish too, people feel good volunteering. Like you're helping people isn't the worst thing in the world. Like it's you can feel okay about it.
Yeah, 500 hampers last year, Darren said.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it was also really, really cold last year and super snowy because I remember I think Parlo and I were out there running around. We might have been doing some Christmas stopping in at city places, and we saw a crew, like a city crew, out across the street, snow blowing the sidewalks and everything. So we stopped to see them. It was a wicked day, and then we went and saw the firefighters often help out a lot on those days,
and sometimes
with Helping Hands or with the Brandon Chair.
And you'd be surprised how people will jump in that had nothing to do with these organizations. Back in '97, I think it was, we had such a heavy dump of a snowfall that they used to have Meals on Wheels.
Oh,
yeah. And it was the same kind of idea, right? And these meals couldn't get to where they had. The radio put a thing out saying anybody with a 4x4, anybody can get these meals out. And I borrowed a geo tracker from a guy. And that little sucker went through everything. But I mean, people were just jumping into trucks and hauling stuff. People will. And Brandon's a pretty caring community when it comes to helping.
Yeah, and I will tell people that too. That like I get to spend a lot of time with a lot of different people, and like people are good.
Yeah,
like most people are really good. Like a high percentage in the 90s are really good people, and they mean to do good things, and they always are. Good and helpful. I don't run into a lot of people that are
1,700 hampers this year. Lonnie says, "Wow, that's a big jump from last year."
Yeah, that's an awesome group in there, though.
Like, this must be one of the if I had to say, there's high points, low points, and everything in between about being a mayor and being the leader of a community. This must be one of those things that just rubs you the right way. Like this has to be one of those warm, cuddly feelings where you're like, you know what, we're doing it, we're helping.
Oh, to an extent, yes, yeah, I wish I could take people around with me all the time. For one thing, you realize there's stuff going on in the city all the time.
Yeah,
right.
Like if you're bored,
there's always something you can
that might be on you.
Yeah.
There's things going on all the time, and there's a lot of good people, and that are doing all kinds of really interesting things, and people really do want to help one another and do good things for each other. We're a city of of good neighbors. Now, we do need to always work on that. You do need to know your neighbor. You need to say hello. This is another little thing I always say to people. I try to be the first to say hello.
Right.
You know, and so like again, like Jayon lives down, not lives, but works in a part of the city that I work in too, and I walk around in there all the time. I say hello to everybody. Drives the Joe nuts, actually.
Right.
And you know what? Most of the time, a person says hello back.
Yeah.
They might even smile at you. Some will, and then the best surprise when someone says hello first.
Yeah.
They beat me to it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I'm the one that gives them the hey, how are you? And it doesn't matter who you are. And
there's been times when I've said hello to people and they looked up like surprised that somebody recognized them or acknowledged them.
Yeah.
And that's a terribly sad situation when people are surprised that they're acknowledged in their space.
You got a human walking past a human.
Yeah.
Because Brandon, and I've described Brandon as being, we're a big small town, and we still have that vibe. We do, and it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Brandon is a big small town, in that you know everybody. You just end up knowing everybody, especially if you've been here for a while. And for the most part, people are friendly. What I find odd sometimes is that, like, I rarely wear like a baseball cap. Sometimes I do, but people don't recognize me ever. It's like, hi. Oh shit, Quentin. Yeah. But people do.
Well, context is always an issue.
Absolutely.
Absolutely is. Yeah.
You know,
yeah. It's a Superman thing, right? So
yeah.
The glasses do it.
Yeah.
No, I think that there's a good question.
Who are you talking to now?
Oh my God.
Where's the mayor go? Where's the mayor? Where'd he go?
Why did they put that journalist in here?
Right. I think that there's Brand's good town, all in all. Like, I don't know where I've lived in Winnipeg for a minute and it was fine. But Brandon,
you survive it. Winnipeg is a place you
Brandon's
survive.
an easy place to live. It can be a very easy place to live. People are very welcoming. It's great for businesses. If you want to start one, people are welcoming to that. What's your favorite?
We do have all our issues. I don't want to always brush over, because I am a half full guy, but I'm aware of every community has its issues. So
we're not naive.
We all do. Yeah, but it is generally a wonderful place. And actually, sometimes, like when we have a lot of immigration right now too, and so I love working in that community too. Like, I'll tell you that Filipino, the Wayne Balkan was there with me as well. Like, what a collection of proud Brandonites.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you know, they still all go, everybody goes to work at their different jobs and that, but they also have an opportunity to come together as a community as once in a while. It's fun to sit there. But man, when they go to talk, they love Brandon. They love Brandon. And I think that's awesome.
And as a culture,
and they have children that are being born here, Brandonites. Like, they're just like we're going to be. This is where they were born. They're going to go to school. They're going to play their soccer here. They're going to play their hockey here. They're going to dance here. They're going to swim here. And they're Brandonites. Like, so what kind of community are we raising for everybody? Like, Quentin, was your dad born here?
We're from Dauphin originally.
No, but from, like, is
Canada?
Yeah.
No, yeah. My dad was born here. My great grandparents came here from Ukraine.
Yeah, and Jayon, you're not too far removed.
Exactly.
So
my
we
mom
are
was
that,
from China directly. So
we're the ones that, when I say we, actually I am far removed.
Right.
We've been the generations and generations and generations here, but like, you're just some new young kid that's parents moved here not long ago, and they're going to be raised Brandonites.
Yeah.
What's the community we're raising them in?
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is,
that's our goal.
And we look at the cultures and because Kelsey works with there's a good core group of Filipino folks that work in the clinic where she's at, and I'm Ukrainian. Like, food is our love language. Like, there's no doubt. And they have their own little kitchen area in the back. Like, they have their own, and they cook. And like, Kelsey will come home like, oh, you didn't come home for lunch today? She goes, no, they were cooking like spring rolls and this, that, and everything else. I'm like, at work? She goes, yeah, they just make a pile of this stuff and they share it.
Asian cultures love to eat, man. Asian cultures will eat all the time.
Right?
Dance, music, everywhere I go, all the time. I've done more dancing in different cultures than you can imagine. I generally like it when Samard's there with me because I think he's worse than I am. and it's always good to have somebody beside you that is not moving as well as you. But his thing is he's more confident than I am too with the dancing. So I don't know if it's worse or not. Like
will you guys be
if you own it?
Will you be going to the pavilions and breaking the dance floor, getting out there and getting your jive on and everything?
Yeah,
a couple of Zumba classes, and he's got it down.
Yeah. And we work really close with West Bay Intermittent Services. We work really close with all kinds of different groups, the university, the college. That's the other thing about sort of the role of mayor and council and all that. Like we kind of oversee and set policy for the corporation, but we want to make a better city. Like so, we're representing the city. So I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to have the best university we can have here, the best college we can have here, the school division. Like school division's got a bit of a tax issue, and I can say that as a community that also has tax issues. But I'm fighting for them.
Yeah,
Tracy Schmidt and I have had discussions. She doesn't want to see me anymore. Premier and I, all of us, like, hey, can you? Because that's also our job. Champion everything, Brandon.
So what do you want? So it's 4-year term as a mayor, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Have you accomplished everything you wanted to accomplish in those 4 years? And if you rerun and win again, is there anything that you kind of want to accomplish for the community?
Some of these big things you want to see get implemented.
Right.
Like we want the medical school.
Right. Of course. Yes. That's the big one.
And that wouldn't be till nothing is really going to happen there probably till the second term of the next.
They go provincial government. Very slow. Yeah.
But it's moving. And the science building will have to be first, and that. I just had discussions with Hydro this afternoon with executives there. So we want to see that big project get going.
Yeah. That's a big one.
And we want to see us manage the population the best we can, because in business, if anybody's been in business, like growth can be great. Growth
and
can
also
be a problem.
Big problem. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you see it in some cases. So say Fort McMurray, the growth was a problem. It just was too fast. They just couldn't. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But we have models out there. Lethbridge.
Yeah.
It went on a growth trajectory that we probably are on. Like, so 2040, we're looking at around 80,000 people. So how do we have everything in place that we can do this?
Yeah.
Shiloh has a massive projects going on out there.
The new battalion or a potential new battalion. Yeah.
It's a new battalion.
Yeah.
And lots of people coming. Get that housing in place. Advocate for everything that they need so that we can collaborate together. We're working with our regional areas to talk about how do we share utilities possibly. Everybody, it's costing so much to do all these things. Yeah. Like, and our dollars are big. The dollars are not as big in some of the municipalities.
Yeah.
Like the real dollars, but they got way less money. Like they don't have the population. They don't have the people. Yeah. So how do we? So we've been talking with the province, the feds, talking with neighbors. Is there a way we can do this regionally that may be more fathomable? That may be more. So we're like, there's a lot of things that we're working on.
So you mentioned hydro, okay, and we kind of understand what you're going on, but I don't know do people really understand what you mean by hydro, or like changes in the hydro system?
But the hydro line, the Portage transmission line should still be here around 2027, which is good. It gives us more capacity. The southwest corner has sort of the least capacity right now, and then they're talking now about. Well, not talking now. They're going to do those turbines in Brandon. Which could be, $2.5 to $3 billion.
Yeah,
and that's a lot of power. And it will put us on the map for industrial, for other things that are going to be going on. Piggy that back on $700 million of military spending that's coming through.
Right.
And like, we got to be ready. Like,
Yeah.
we have got to be able to manage what's going on. I see there a question about the schools. Are we handling growth? The schools are doing an excellent job. We are growing at over 4% per year in the school division, which is essentially the equivalent of a new school every year. We are not getting a new school every year.
No.
Yeah.
Every school is overcrowded.
Yeah.
Like, and actually, who does? Yeah, that's Jason. He asked that. Vincent Massey is only grade 9, 10, 11, 12 now.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact. It's over 1,200 students.
Yeah.
Maybe closer
Really?
to 14. I think it's.
Yeah.
Them and Crocus are about the same. Like, it's just jammed. It's just jammed. And
So we
that's
need
just grade 9, 10, 11.
we need 2 new schools, 1 high school and 1 elementary.
Well, the one
primary.
elementary will start this year in Brooklyn.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's all prepped and it's ready to go.
Right.
So it'll start this year in Brooklyn. So that's good because there's no school going in that area. And then the next one, we will be working with the school division to fight to make sure we get a high school somewhere.
Yeah.
But that we know that'll have to be next. But the division doesn't have a location or anything like that. But that will be something that early in the next term of the provincial government, that will be a hard press.
Well, and you have to look at schools in that. I mean, Crocus, the newest school would have been Crocus until
Waverly Park. Waverly, then Maryland Park.
Waverly, then Crocus.
Yeah, Maryland Park's going to have over 900 students when that addition gets finished.
That's huge.
I think we'll be the largest elementary middle year school in the province per capita.
Yeah. Which is huge. That's absolutely huge.
I'm just looking at the gaps that exist because of the gaps that exist, not because of anybody's fault. But if Crocus, let's rewind.
I also think Crocus has at least three cricket teams right now too.
Of course,
what? Really?
But
they're really good.
But Crocus would have been the newest high school, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next school that was built was Maryland Park, right?
Waverly Park.
Waverly Park.
Waverly Park.
Yeah.
So that took 40 years. And it's probably 30 years. Like they don't grow, they don't pop up as fast as people think they can.
And in fact, we lost one, right? So
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I mean, it takes a long time to go to school.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's an issue, but I got to say, we have an excellent school division. I will put the city of Brandon up against any other city as being the best place to raise a child.
I would agree with that.
I think we have excellent school divisions. I think we have, for the size that we are, about 60,000, we have all kinds of things to do, like the things for Suzuki programs for music, like, the Blue Fins, all kinds of different hockeys and soccers and dance. Like our dance studios are fantastic. The Mecca production stuff. It's a great place. The gymnastics, like it's a great place to raise children.
Yeah. What about another private school or something? We already have the hockey academy, but there is
a French school that's supposed to be coming at some point. So on Maryland Park, sort of between Mazer Group there and that's Maryland there.
But that'll be a different school division. That'll be the
French school division.
Yeah,
but that would take students.
Good. Yeah.
Outside, so it would help, and it's been approved. It's ready to go. It's just a matter of them making that call someday.
So go back to school. Football was a highlight. What was your worst? What was the one thing you did not like about school? What was your worst course that you took?
You know what? I may not have paid as much attention as I should have in high school.
You sound like everyone here in this room right now.
Yeah. I just want to fit in. but no, I probably didn't. I didn't. Like, school was fun. I enjoyed it. I just loved being there. I'm the kind of guy that would have skipped school to go to school just because that's where everybody was.
Isn't it amazing when we're adults how we look back on like the responsibilities we have in life and how hard we thought high school was back in the day? Like if I could go back to high school, that was the easiest time of your life.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
God, you took.
I
took
enjoyed.
things
I did
so
enjoy.
seriously,
I
right?
enjoyed university a lot more. I enjoyed learning at university. Like I really enjoyed learning at university.
Yeah.
And I think as we get older, we enjoy learning more.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had a lot of fun and lots of pizza buns.
Yeah.
Did I learn anything? Something.
No.
I mean, I learned how to be a center and take wallps from everybody.
Yeah.
You learned what time the pizza buns came out on a regular day. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I also remember like Kev Grindy and I again, like we would ride our bikes. So we were both in the West End. Kev was on Noonan Drive. I was on sort of Rosser West End. And we'd ride our bikes like all the way across town. Two young guys that should just be riding casually, but we had to go as fast as we could. And I'll tell you what, you ride your bike as fast as you can across the city. Put your bikes in there and go inside the school. What happens?
What? Yeah. Like a Zumba class.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh man, that poor Kevin. No wonder in those early years of high school we weren't meeting a lot of girls.
Yeah.
That's the two sweaty guys. Yeah.
And that's how we got around. I mean, I know I hear the same thing touching on the school division. People talk about how hard it is to get in and out of the schools. And I said, well, here's the problem with that. Those drop-off pickup areas were designed for like 6 buses and a couple of cars, not every single student getting dropped off by their parents.
Yeah.
I lived on Marquee and I walked past.
That's a traffic dilemma. Like it's like whenever we meet with the division and our teams work together a lot, that peak hour drop off and pickup is a nightmare at every school.
Yeah.
But
it never happened.
the Joe, I always say this, and the Joe always like, don't tell everybody everything all the time, But like we don't live far from Kirkcaldy School,
right?
So maybe 3 blocks.
Yeah.
And so, but I don't know why. I think Joe just wanted to make sure she fit in, so she'll also drive those kids to school. And
well, it is a social thing too. If you can see some of the parents, you can wave a little bit, and
so I think the boys were in grade 1 and 3, or I don't know. Are they 2 years apart in school? Yeah, I guess so. They're 1 and 3, and they said, "Let's, Mom, we don't want to." Like we'll walk. Like we'll just pick up Kobe on the way. Can we walk to school, please?
Yeah.
And I remember us getting them ready for school. It was always hectic and and then we were always late. And I remember we went to the first interviews after they started walking, and both teachers gave us it's great to see the kids showing up at school on time.
I'll tell you what. Here's a way we could pay for a school real quick. Ultimate fundraiser. Start selling iced coffees during drop off and pickup. Done.
There you go. Yeah.
Moms would be filling their Stanleys all day.
Yeah. Or an open bar. Just have a bar there.
Oh, Drew wants to know what Drew wants to know what kind of bike I rode. I think I might have had a Marushi or something like that back then. But I remember I at one point bought a bike, my friend Sean Williamson, shredder.
Yeah.
Like he always had these fancy, super crazy bikes, and like super fancy, like racing bikes. And so one time I thought, well, I'll buy his old racing bike off of him. And but I just rode my bike. Like I didn't race bikes. So I'd have my cutoff jeans, this super fancy Proflex racing bike, like with a Slurpee, and it would just the bike people would just go nuts. They just couldn't stand that I had this awesome bike, and they know where it ended up. My dad had eventually took it to the farm, and he would use it to ride back and forth between like the tractor and things.
What's more important is, do you still have your jorts?
My Jordan, no.
So when you were young, what car did you drive to school then?
Ooh.
Oh, I had my Honda Civic, 1980 Honda Civic hatchback.
Okay.
Oh,
Was that your
that's classic. Yeah.
Oh yeah, $500.
Wow. Okay.
Back when you can get a car and you didn't have to worry about a safety, and the only worry you had was, will I get there in one piece?
That car makes me think I needed the car actually, because I worked in the summers out at Harvest Salvage, which is like out near the Simplot
Yep.
ball diamonds
Yep.
and all that.
Yep.
And, just taking apart combines and grinding it out. And Paul Dillon, who ran that place, it was just the three of us out there. And I was just grinding, just like a grunt work guy, strong but not smart.
Honest work.
Yeah, and this kind of stuff, and I talked to him about it years later. And as a boss, I realized it too. I'm out there. He's busy with things, and I think I've caught up on everything. Hot day, and I caught up on everything. I said, "Hey, I got nothing to do here, Paul. What could you get me to do?" He says, he looks around. I remember him looking around. He says, "Actually, the railroad ties that are over there. We should probably be putting them over on the other side of the yard."
Oh Christ!
So I carry every one of those things across that yard, sweating like a pig, like working as fast as I can, get it done. And I pop back in and I go, "Yeah, I got that." And that. All he did is he walked back out, looks and goes, "You know what? No, they're better back there." I just ran back and moved them all back. And it hit me like 10 years later. I thought, that son of a bitch.
I thought he was going to say, "Hey," I thought he was going to say something like, "Hey, that's scrap Civic in the back. Haul that thing over." I'm like, wait a minute.
My cousins just ended up with that vehicle. I ended up with combine parts on that thing just to keep it running. It was no beauty.
But that was back when you could do it, when it didn't require having
it was fine.
a computer science degree to fix your car, right?
First cars were, and here's the thing that we had, and this is, I think I'd attest to everybody in our little room here. Our first cars were a reliable shitbox. It wasn't pretty, but it would get you there most of the time. I had a 1977 Ford Ranchero.
That's sexy.
Yeah.
The Kruk, the car truck, the mullet of the automobile industry. Yeah.
Very sexy.
And Jayon, you had a
I had an 88 Ford Probe.
okay, that was pretty high end.
Nobody, of course it was. Nobody wants to talk about the name though. What do you drive? I don't want to tell you.
I'm driving Pro.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's one thing that you never saw in the parking lot of Massey or Crocus: cars with warranty.
And Massey you did though.
Yeah, sometimes I guess.
Because there was that old story, because the Crocus kids built their cars, right? The Massey kids had their parents buy their cars, and the Nealon kids stole them.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember the story of the guy that used to cook his breakfast on a Coleman stove in front of his locker in Nealon? That was a thing. Nobody cared.
No way.
Absolutely. He had a little Coleman stove, and he just sit in front of his locker and cook his breakfast, and then clean it up, and then go on to class.
It's like The Office here, right? Cook bacon nice and fresh in the morning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was a different time, and it was a good time. I mean, nobody got hurt. We were pretty chill, and we didn't have much. But you know what? Whatever we had, didn't matter how bad it was. Didn't matter if your Civic was running on combine parts or my Ranchero. I had to park my Ranchero close to a plug-in because I had to hook the battery booster up to it all the time to start it, and I couldn't afford to buy a battery.
And I'm not I use a vehicle and I have a vehicle to get around, but I've never been a real car guy.
I'm
my
not
very utilitarian.
My older brother, I remember, I think he was like 17, and he bought himself a brand new Honda Accord. They remember the kind that all four wheels turned?
Or where they turned, yeah.
Four-wheel steering,
the front and the back.
Yeah.
And my youngest brother's about 10 years younger than him. And and again, different times. So he started his paper when he was 5 years old. And he took out his first bonds at 8.
Entrepreneur to the roots, right?
Yeah, he's a partner in Winnipeg law firm now.
Of course.
But so we remember talking about, like, are you going to buy a car when you turn 16? Like, will you think you'll buy a car when you turn 16? And he said, I don't know, maybe. This is just still a kid. And I remember when he turned 16, I said to him, "Well, are you going to buy a car?" He goes, "Stupidest thing I could do."
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, he's a cheap SOB still. But I love him dearly. But
so you have two brothers, right? Three brothers. Okay.
Chronologically, Mark's my oldest. Yes,
and he is
but only chronologically.
Somewhere else. And where is he?
He's moving back to the Philippines actually right away.
Philippines, okay.
So he's a Cebu. He's been all around the world, and as my boys say, he's an awesome uncle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's lived quite a life. And then my brother that's just younger than me also has great stories, but again, left town, accountant by trade. Immediately left like academic, the wonder kid, everybody's pride and joy. Went to Toronto, working at Ernst & Young, like right off the bat, doing great stuff. And maybe a year, and just thought, like, I see my whole life ahead of me. Got on his bicycle and started riding around the world. And he rode around his world for a couple of times, learned languages. Now he lives out on Pender Island. They've got some restaurants out in Victoria. And,
Nice.
He doesn't get around here too much.
How often do you get to visit them?
I've only been out there once in the last while, but we all stay in touch. Like we got our group chat, and and my parents are here. So, but yeah, it is nice. I wish my brothers were around a bit more. My youngest one is in Winnipeg, so I do get to see him a lot, and I probably FaceTime him maybe even once a week if I get a chance. I just he doesn't suffer fools, so he always lets me know where I stand on anything quite quickly.
That's good. We all need a little humility check at times.
Yeah.
Right?
This is the time of the year too, when I think we all sort of miss and we push it out to try and get in touch with everybody, right? Like life is busy, but everybody's.
It is very tough to get the four of us together.
Has it happened in the last 10 years?
Oh shit! Yeah, my grandma lived to 100, and she had to have a birthday every 5 years from 75 on. That they go 3 or 4 days long, and so
she's 100.
She died. She died last year, but she was 100.
Very clever to get everyone together every 5 years.
Yeah.
This is mandatory. You're going to show up.
Yeah, and I remember telling her at one time, I was saying, "Oh, Grandma, I can't believe I have a 20-year-old. It's just crazy. How did this happen? I have a 20-year-old." She goes, "Oh, tell me about it. I have an 80-year-old." Yeah, she had these 2 80-year-old daughters helping her out at home. Like she still was at her place. And I thought, oh my goodness, what kind of world is this? This is wild. Yeah,
you know what? And they're fun. I mean, I love talking to like old people, and I used to get some old dudes. Used to sit in my chair back in the day, and they've seen things, and nothing shakes them. I've lived through worse. Trust me.
Yeah, she was fascinated by COVID.
Really?
Well,
why?
I don't know. I think just it's just another thing. How will it
One
end?
more panic, eh?
Yeah, one more. Like we've been through things, and at that point she wasn't leaving the house a lot anyway.
It ain't new to them.
No, it wasn't. No. It was more like, oh, wonder how this will end.
Yeah.
But I had a wonderful relationship with my grandfather who was in town here too. Like we were really close. He was a lot older than my grandma, and when I was trying to get into adulthood, my grandma, they were trying to push him out. Like, he had the businesses and all that, but they were trying to push him out. So him and I were kind of in the doorway of adulthood, hanging out together. Nobody wanted me to come in, and they all wanted him out. And I spent a lot of time with that guy, and we would build things, and we would garden all the time. And I was doing university stuff. And I'll never forget talking to him in the garden about life, and I wanted to know, like, is there something, because he was getting older. He was 87 when he died, 88. And, but I asked him, is there anything you're waiting for, Graham? Is there anything you want to see? Like the birthday or somebody having a baby, or like, is there a get to Christmas? Is there something? Because there's often that sort of thing. He's like, I don't know. I don't really know. And he's quiet for a long time. I get back over. He goes, you know what I want to do? I just want to be here when it all ends.
Oh, jeez.
I want to know how everything ends. I thought, man,
it's a good answer.
I kind of loved it. It was not what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But he really did. He wanted to know everything ended. And I thought he was forever looking to learn more.
You know what? It's interesting when you talk to folks like that, and it's when you lose somebody that, like, at this point now, Jeff, and I mean myself for sure, I wish I could have one more conversation with my dad or with my grandfather, because man, I could tell him some stuff. Like, Could you imagine, like, if your grandfather saw you here, like not here, like with us two idiots,
Yeah.
but I mean
Yeah.
here
Oh,
in where life took you?
he'd hate the taxes.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, like this is something that I tell a lot of my older clients. So like you have a lot of wisdom and a lot of experiences and a lot of stories, a lot of opinions, and they're all going to be gone when you're gone.
Mhm.
So when I do get older clients in, I do tell them, you know, what you really need to do is write your story or your memoirs or your or something, you know, because those are things.
That is a good practice as an older person to sort of write your life. Yeah.
There is actually, and I saw these things. I'm going to get one for I should probably get one for my mom because my dad's gone now. But it's a book. It's you fill it in. It's a book. It says, Mom, I want to hear the story of your life. And there's sections that they can just fill it in. And I think that would be amazingly interesting to be able to see, like, what do I not know?
Yeah.
Because there's things we don't know about.
Yeah. What do I not want to know? Like when my mom was queen of the beach at Clear Lake all the time. I just leave it there.
Yeah.
I found out
when I used to have to go to school, and we had all the Wheat Kings that went to school with us, and there was always the girls that went out with the Wheat Kings. They had names, and and I think, well, I can't throw stones. Like my dad was a Wheat King. You know, my mom was going out there, like, I got no throws. I can't throw stones.
It's
you know,
funny,
like they say that like 95% of history is forgotten because it's not written down, and I highly doubt it's that low of a number.
You're right.
Yeah.
I think that I love journaling.
Social media will know what everybody ate every day.
Yeah, that's true. That's wonderful information. But we're not going to talk about any of the wisdom that you learn throughout the days.
But the stories that you hear when you're a kid, like when you're older, when your parents were old enough to tell you the stories about how they met, like I learned that my parents met because my dad was at a dance in Fork River. And my mom was from Ethelbert, and he was standing there smoking a cigarette, and he burnt her with it. That's how they met. Nothing romantic. These are these things. Like, how did you and your wife meet? How did you and your wife meet? How did Kelsey and I meet? Like, these are stories that you want them to know, but you don't really want them to know.
So I think the big thing is we want to continue to socialize.
Yeah.
We still have to create opportunities to socialize. One of the books we reread in my book club, like with my buddies that I have, is we all decided we would reread Brothers Karamazov, the old Russian. Like nobody had read it for the past 30 years.
Right.
And, you know, so this is a guy that's writing. There's no telephones. There's no, certainly not, you know, they're not doing this.
Right.
But man, the human piece.
Yeah.
The human piece is still completely there. You know, and also the beauty of reading a book 30 years later.
Yeah. There's something we said about the written word.
Particularly if you've underlined things and stuff like that, and you get back and you think, man, why did I think that was important?
Yeah.
That was holy. My perspective has changed. But there's that human piece. Like those are classics because they still relate to us as humans. They don't talk about the technology. They don't talk about it's how do we relate to as people.
Well, and conversation died somewhere in the last 10 years where we're having a conversation. We're just having a conversation.
Yeah, and we wouldn't be able to do this type of discussion at council.
No. God, no. I would put my hand up.
Far too much interrupting.
Right. But I mean,
so you could introduce alcohol to the council and then it would flow along a little bit more organically, right? Yeah.
Right. No, I think that it's, you know what, I think it's great that that we can have these conversations and that people are still willing to, and that's how things like live streams and podcasts happen, and where you just chat, we're just talking about stuff and we're learning about each other, which is something that people don't try to do as much anymore.
Yeah.
No, and I love talking, and actually I am curious too. Like as I said, I met with that was on a panel with the mayor of Savannah, Georgia, and a lot of it was talking about communication and then miscommunication, disinformation, all that kind of stuff. But how do we get good information out there? How do we talk to people? And like we blame things like social media and that, but can we use them better?
Yeah.
Can we, like when we were young, and not that there was always better times have come, but we had the newspaper, we had the radio stations, we had the TV stations,
television stations,
and we all got the same news. Now we may have interpreted it differently, but we all got, so the three of us said, did you see the CKX last night? Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk about what we saw. Did you hear, did you read the newspaper? Yes. What's your take on that? We might agree or disagree on certain things, but we all had the same, like the three of us, not any of us, like our algorithms are nowhere close.
Correct.
I don't know what information you're getting.
Yeah.
You don't know what information I'm getting. We don't even have a common thing to talk about in that sense.
Yeah.
And it's put that across everywhere.
Now trying to communicate with people where they have different viewpoints and obviously going to have some emotional upset about things that are happening in the world, right?
Yeah, because we don't even have the same base to start with.
Yeah.
No. We here's what I loved about the news when we were kids. And I remember my grandfather, we had the National of Milton Nash.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the news that Gita watched, and that was on, and that was it.
Yeah.
And all he did was read it. And then he put it down, and then he read the next piece. And then he put it down, and he read the next piece. There was no opinion. There was nothing. He just read.
It was news.
It was news, but he just read what happened.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a spin on it. It was, this is what happened.
Yeah.
Next. This is what happened. Next. And part of me is longing for the days when they just read what happened and then shut up. And
well, we're of the generation that went to 24-hour news.
Yes.
And that was sports that took it there. The wide world of sports was the catalyst.
What did it?
It was a catalyst. Like once they realized they could do full sports stations, and that why wouldn't you do full news? And
sport came before news.
The sports,
you're probably right.
Wild world of sports was the big one that kind of took it to another level. That's in an old basketball book actually that I read about the Portland Trailblazers. But
you got to have what people are interested in, though. People are craving for that information, and that's what they want.
And there's not enough news. There's not enough news.
Yeah.
So we have.
Do you remember when TV would start in the morning?
23 hours of opinion.
Well, that's the thing. When you start having news up there, and it's like, was it a slow news day? Because I don't really care what Trump had for lunch today.
Yeah. And if you watch the news, the 15, 20 minutes of news on no matter what station you watch news, the news is actually all pretty similar.
Yeah.
And then they flip to opinion.
Yeah.
And opinion changes a great deal.
Interpretation and just keeping people engaged and distracted from
what's
important.
I think that one of the things I realized when, again, I was with mayors from all over the world last week in Toronto. And like the fact that we actually have a local newspaper is fascinating.
Yeah.
Really?
I guess. So many places don't.
They're all dying out. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have local, privately owned, like the Winnipeg guys, Free Press, and I think they're still good newspapers, and I advocate like hell for them, because they do cover local news. Because I'll tell you what's also not in our algorithm: local news.
Correct.
Well,
or national news for that matter.
Yeah,
national,
right.
Yeah.
Like, where can we get it? Twitter, I guess it will still allow it, but Twitter's the Wild West.
Yeah. So I wondered when I left some of these things, like versus the Europeans and even African countries and different that, like, did we cut off our nose to spite our face by getting into the meta fight and saying, hey, if you're not going to pay, then you got to take all the news off.
Right.
Like, so now we just don't even you can't. The Globe and Mail is not on Facebook. Brandon Sun's not on Facebook.
Yeah.
So now they're not paying, which they weren't before.
Yeah.
But we also don't get our news. Like they don't enter our algorithm.
But oddly enough, because we can't get the news on Facebook, we can't get the news on Instagram, can't get whatever platforms, but we can get it on Threads, which is a meta-based platform.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know why Threads is.
They allow it.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like a time swamp, though.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
very much so. So, like because we have local news and it covers local events, like Do you find that you've been criticized as a mayor? Have you had your fair share of criticism?
I don't mind it. I will tell you that as soon as the election was over, the Joe canceled the Brandon's unsubscription.
Oh, really?
And now she did. Like I still have it. Like I
Right.
got it on my phone, and
Right.
and that. But she wasn't interested. And
How do you handle that? How do you handle local criticism? You know,
I don't
because
mind.
essentially
I'm
your
fine with that. If
peers,
it's-
friends,
if
and
it's-
everything, right? So
If it's legit criticism, then yeah, you got to get it.
yeah, I mean, everyone wants the same thing. They want a better community. Just how we get there is different.
I think
right?
we do a good job of covering the news. You know, I may not always agree with a headline, but you know, the news, the people that are covering the news, they do a good job of it. I'll tell you, we got great sports coverage in that Brandon Sun.
Right.
Like local sports, like and if you're a local community, you want to read about local people. You want to read about your friend down the street has a kid that's playing volleyball at Vincent Massey, and they're in the paper. This kid's in the swim team, and I read about him in the paper today. You know, my grandkid is this, or there's your local. Like some of the really good local newspaper guys in the U.S. would say, if I could print the phone book every day, I would, because everybody likes to look for their own name and their neighbors and their mom and dads and their friends.
Yeah.
So, So they do a good job of doing a local newspaper. Where else are you going to find that?
Yeah.
You know, and they cover our region well. I don't always agree, and Matt and Deborah and them know, I don't always agree with the editorials or opinions.
That's fair.
But
yeah,
they're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I advocate like hell though that we have it. And when I talk with young people, I'm fascinated. They don't even realize we have a newspaper. And so I think we're trying to see if the Free Press has a program, and they want to get it in Brandon, where they actually end up in the schools, so you can do critical thinking on media and news, and how do they get their sources? What do they have to make sure they have proof before they put it in there? All those kind of things.
I think free press is really being diminished as of late because it's vitally important as a way to convey communication, discussions, having open topics, and having debate. But unfortunately, it seems to be broken down over the last little while, especially with social media.
You know, what's interesting, you talk about the high school, someone brought that up. A buddy of mine's a teacher in Portage, and PCL, I think it's called PCL. They have an amazing media, their class, whatever it is. And these kids report on stuff, and they report on sports, and they have a channel, and they go to town. They really go to task with this stuff. And it's amazing to see this, because these kids are interested in their community, and they're reporting on their community.
Yeah.
And that's getting out to the public. And I've never seen anything like it. And it's a program that could easily happen in a high school here.
Yeah. Actually, I do get a lot of, it's often about grade 8 students that come visit City Hall.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
I love it. We have a great time. We take them all over the city hall, because we don't have a lot in City Hall. Like, that is obviously not the city. We have our HR department, finance, IT, and you know, not a whole lot of other things. And then we always end up in, like, we'll come through my office, so that we can see what goes on there. And we can go into the chamber. And I'll tell you, I have some great discussions with these students. Like, it's awesome. They sit at the chairs. They sit at the mayor's chair. They sit everywhere else. We do sometimes do the session like it's council.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, wow. That's good. Yeah. That's really good.
I think you can just see the teacher thinking, okay, we got to continue this.
So how do we get our kids into this? I would love my kids to be involved in that sort of thing.
The teachers phone and say, we're going to school trip over and see. We're going to talk about, and so they do. So they talk about civics, and they talk about getting involved. But I'm always fascinated that they get their medium from social media, and they're all confused as to how they even find local news. It's just, I guess, somebody else says something, and that's so
my daughter is in the organization of the Young Leaders, or Youth Revolution is what it is.
Oh yeah.
Lillian
used to run that.
Yeah, I think that would be a fantastic thing for a lot of these kids to get into.
Yeah, so the Youth Revolution group, like, that's, again, big groups, like, and I would meet with them usually at their wrap-ups, and those are the students that I said, because if you're going to get involved in something like that, I said, just so you know, there's people that are sitting in here with you that are likely going to be a mayor or an MLA or an MP or city councilor, and that, because you're going to be asked to. You're already doing things in the community.
Yeah.
And so even though you're only 14 or 16, that's just so you know, none of you are wanting to be mayor, or none of you are wanting to be this, but you are going to be asked to be because you're doing things.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and that it's okay to.
Yeah. Are there any misconceptions that people have about being mayor? You know, like you get a lot of people like they're always easy to throw the criticism as to what you should or should not.
I think one of the
be doing.
biggest misconceptions is because kids always ask like that I must have the biggest house, or do I have a driver?
Yeah.
And
Drive a Lambo to work.
Yeah,
right?
I guess
So,
they don't go through the public payroll. You
yeah.
got to get to about the 6th or 7th page before you run across the mayor and the highest paid people in the city.
I just have to know this as far as like these kids coming in and seeing how this works and understanding what it could be like to be mayor. How old do you think the youngest mayor was in Canada? Do you know this?
My guess is you can run at 18, so probably 18.
Yeah, pretty close.
19.
Yeah.
And in 1999, Clayton Smith became the mayor of New Norway, Alberta at 19 years old.
Yeah. I remember Michael Elves was on city council, or not, at the school board, and he might have been 18 or 19.
Yeah.
Like here's the thing: if you want to be involved and the people know that you're genuine, you can become that.
Yeah.
Like here's the thing, Jeff, you're genuine. That's the nice thing about you, Jeff. What you see is what you get. There's no act. You're Jeff. That's it. Which is what people want.
Some, but yeah.
Right. Grain of salt.
Yeah. It is true. Yeah. Well, I like people. That it also doesn't hurt if you like people to be in public positions.
It definitely helps.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely. Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that I can't believe it's been 3 years already. It seems like it was yesterday.
No, time goes by quite quickly.
Yeah. So are you planning on running again then?
Oh yeah, I've always been. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
I mean,
I'll just keep doing my stuff. Like you got to make sure that everything's going good for everybody else. And but I'll be out there. Do it again. So that's a bit of a weird thing, I got to tell you. Like, it's one of the weird jobs where literally you got to go out and get the job again.
Yeah.
You got to reapply every 4 years.
Yeah.
So when is the election?
It's in October. Every October.
So
we're always fixed elections.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it'll be school division. We know, like Chris Desarlia said, he's not running. Mm-hmm. There's probably a few others that will at some point say that they are not.
Yeah.
But it'll be good. I have had a lot of people approach me about running, and I think that's a good thing. And they approach because they want to be involved, and I think that's good, because sometimes we get people running to say, we got to change this.
Yes. Good luck.
And sometimes you do need to.
Yes, but it's hard.
Sometimes you do. But
it's not easy.
Like we've done a lot of heavy lifting. And people have kind of seen that. Okay, I want to be part of what's going on here. I think we are growing this city. I think that there's some positive things we could do. I like the direction it's going, and I want to be part of that.
And I think
that's good.
I think when someone gets into it, and like I came from when I ran.
Somebody put Costco in there. I've talked to Costco. I kept hearing everybody talk about Costco all the time.
Right.
And so the city doesn't do that, right? The city doesn't.
No. Right.
But I thought, man, I keep hearing this all the time. I'm just going to phone. So the head office of the country's in Montreal. Called, asked him if, could you give me a call? Called me back, set it up. Said, have you guys looked at here? I'm just curious. I'm not there.
Right.
I'm not going to. Oh yeah. We've looked at Brandon a lot of times. Here's what we're doing in the other areas. Obviously, the Headingley one plays a big role.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah. And he said, you know what I'll do? I'll set you up with a meeting with our guys. And by the end of the week, we had our team in there meeting with like their property people and that. and they look at properties. So I think we're going to end up with a Costco at some time, but just don't hold your breath.
Yeah.
Like, and
it's not happening.
they're specific on what they're looking for. We want 3 entrances. We want 1,000 parking lots.
Yeah.
Our parking is very, very flat, so there's going to be issues that you guys will have because they're very flat because their carts are so big and they can't have carts rolling.
Right.
And so the drainage is different. Yeah. So, and if the opportunity comes, they would come here. So, but I just got tired of hearing everybody talk about Costco. And like, does anybody actually phone them?
Well, here's the thing. This is the first time in all these years that I've heard anybody say that you said, "Hey, yeah, no, I've talked to them." Like I've never heard that before.
Yeah. No, they're. So I'm not saying that they're coming, but they're very aware, Brand. They know different locations that they would look at.
They'd have to be aware. I mean, So here's another question then: Red Lobster. Everyone's asking about the Red Lobster, right? So.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually have a pretty interesting meeting coming up this week about a place, so it'll be interesting to see. And again, I bring in people into those meetings because a lot of people.
Will that be downtown? Will that be downtown?
It would be if it happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on downtown.
Yeah.
Like one of the CMHC there, the approvals came through for one of the residential projects, so that's going to start hopefully come spring. The other one should be through CMHC soon. Like there's going to be a lot of things that are changing again down there.
What's happening with the RHA, or is that still up in the air?
To the RHA.
Yeah.
I would hate to see people cut and run, man. Like I'm still upset that the province left or the feds left.
Yep.
You don't. You need to be there. Like the city's not going to cut and run out of downtown.
Correct.
The province does not want to cut and run out of downtown. I empathize.
That's an issue.
I empathize with the staff that has been where they've been for the RHA for the last while. There needs to be a change, and
there
I know that they would like to. Yeah.
Is there a current, like, what are they going to do with the federal building then? Because obviously it's empty right now. It's for sale.
Yeah,
could that be an RHA discussion or something?
No, but there is discussions on that building going on with provincial, federal, all kinds. We're constantly looking for things. That's the other downside of the world I live in is there's a lot of things that could happen, may happen, but you can't talk about them because there's a good chance they might not. Like so, nothing's real until shovel goes in the ground.
Right.
That's really.
And even then,
there's a whole bunch of things going on, but nothing's real till the shovel goes in the ground.
Right.
And so I can wander around with this optimism going through the yin yang, but and nothing goes fast.
One of the big questions was always there again. It just popped up with the old downtown gallery, the town center. So that's
he's got plans.
A big question. Yeah,
he's got plans. Yeah. Again, it's private sector. But
they do it whenever they decide to move.
Yeah, regularly engaged with our planning team, regularly engaged with the development guys, and that will happen.
And I find it interesting how people do believe that, like Jay said, well, what about a Red Lobster? Here's the thing, Jay, you can open up a Red Lobster if you'd like to open up a Red Lobster. Anybody can open up a Red Lobster. It's people say, well, we don't have this and this. Well, then open one. You can.
The biggest problem with any of those franchises is they do require a certain amount of liquid assets before they even entertain the possibility of moving into a location as a franchisee.
That's not the city's department.
I agree with that. Yeah,
I agree with that.
But we do have we do have a lot of franchises. Actually, you know what I found was interesting, and you guys maybe know this, but particularly the hockey tournaments. So we have these big hockey tournaments. We're always an event city, right? We're an event city. But the hockey tournaments in particular, I found that what do they really love when they come to Brandon? Brandon pizza.
Yeah,
really?
Brandon easily has some amazing pizza places for the province. The whole province, pizza and subs are amazing.
So we're talking about the Greek guys, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Astoria, or not Astoria, Romano's. We got Marino's, the Pizza Express. Yeah,
all those ones. Yeah.
Okay,
and people we just take them for granted.
Yeah.
But when out of town teams come, it's like, oh man,
Yeah.
we're going Brandon Pizza.
Some of the best pizza you'll ever get in the country,
I'll
easily.
tell you what.
Yeah.
Are you sour cream baked in or not at Romano's?
You know what? Actually, that we used to years and years ago was baked in, and now that we just did sometimes sour cream on top.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just your own. Your own. Yeah.
Because it's about options, right? It's really about options.
It's about options, but we do have these things that are Brandon flavors, right? Like
We
the
take them for
Romano's-
granted.
We do, like the roast chicken sub from right behind your
Pizza
office.
Express there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's you don't want to eat the you get the whole one. You're not going to eat it, so you take half of it, and then 5 minutes later you go back.
You
and
eat the
grab
rest of it. Yeah.
in 5 minutes.
There are certain flavors that were always notorious with Brandon. It always was that way, right?
I still remember the smell, because it used to be a thing for us to go to Astoria on 26th and Vic when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I remember walking in and that very distinct smell. I can remember that smell of that sauce simmering in that restaurant to this day.
Yeah.
It was so good. But we do. You're right, Jeff. We have some amazing pizza joints and really good restaurants.
Yeah. We have great local restaurants. Yeah. They're awesome. And I will tell you, I'm still very optimistic about the things that are going on in the downtown. Like we're working on all kinds of things, social service wise, but more the housing and there's a lot that could be coming, and one of the reasons that we focus a lot on things like downtown, people sometimes wonder, it's because as farm community, I'll use farm language.
Sure.
The yield per acre.
Yes.
On taxation in downtown, if you can get it working, subsidizes the rest of the community.
Yeah.
Because the density and the combination of commercial and housing and all that, like you like if you get a whole city block all the way around, all full, like it's boom, 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 boom. Each one of those things are paid.
The heavy yield of commercial and then the multi-levels of residential.
So strong downtowns are like a lifeblood. So it's like we're not utilizing our best crop. We're not putting the effort into the best crop sometimes, and it can subsidize other things.
Yeah.
Lots of times it's the multi-use buildings where you get a restaurant downstairs, then you got 4 condos up top. Those are downtown is ripe for that type of housing. And in the industry that I'm in, there is a lack, and it's not due to anything other than growth and everything else. But I mean, if you could have something that was relatively affordable, it's like, did you see how fast those mini homes went up on the hill?
Yeah.
Those tiny homes went like that.
Yeah.
Affordable. You know what? You've got your own place. And if downtown did that, and again, people have to want to invest in it. That's a big one. So you invest in something that has a commercial on the bottom and residential on top, which is kind of the new way that those buildings are done.
It still comes down to the cost effectiveness. And that's always going to be the underlying concern, whether we can keep it cost effective, right? So,
you take a 100-year-old building and you retrofit it to become that. You already have the commercial on the bottom. You just have to retrofit the top of it.
Yeah.
So there is a way.
One thing that and it cost is an issue, because we would have lots of restaurants downtown if we had kitchens.
Yes,
that's a hard one to do.
Kitchens are expensive.
Very expensive.
There's a lot of liability in them. There's a lot but people would love to have restaurants.
That is one industry I would never want to go back into because of the high overhead, the cost, as well as the liability involved in it.
Yeah, and you certainly wouldn't want my lunch group to come.
Eat you out of business, eh?
Yeah. Well, Chad's doing good.
No, I think that we've got Brandon. I mean, I worked downtown, I had a business downtown. I like downtown. It's every downtown gets a bad rap, and people can say, well, it's this. Sure. Yeah, that does happen. That's not unusual. Yep. But here's the thing. As it gets better, like the solution to pollution is dilution. And the more good you put into an area, the less.
Yeah. So we get people. Like people matter.
Yeah.
Like
people living downtown. Yeah.
Prime example.
Here's when I was young, when I was like in the 1990s, people would tell me, like, oh, I can't believe you're going downtown. It's like, well, my parents had a restaurant down there. It's like, so I just hang out there. Like, oh, I would never go down there. It's way too dangerous. And that was in the 90s when there was a lot of happening things back then too.
Yeah, and a lot of it is a perspective thing, And there is some places that I think that some people would be uncomfortable, which we have to continue to try to address.
That is a real concern. It is a real concern.
It is.
Yeah,
but the more the people there are, the more comfortable you feel.
I use the Burton Cummings Theater as the how this works. You've been to the Burt. We've all been to the Burt. I'm sure we've all gone to a show at the Burt. Okay, the Burt is not in a place where you'd want to typically hang out on any given day. However, when there's a show on, who's there? All the people that were at the show.
Yeah, so it's just like the downtown. We see it like when the car shows are on, the weather's good.
Yeah,
man, those things are everywhere. And Emmy and her team have done the Wednesday
the market, farmers market, and everything.
You know, these are good, but it's people.
Well, we've been downtown for 14 years, and when we moved down there, we had clients who told us, if you move to that location, we'll never come to your business again. Because at that point in time, there were a lot of people who would just hang around the corner. And the second we moved in, we noticed those people didn't come around anymore because we started introducing more people into that area. Now, we do find a lot of people, like, you know, whether it's a homeless or a substance abuse or mental illness or whatever concerns are out there, you know, they don't really want to be around large crowds of people.
No, you know? they want to be under the bridge, or
there's a certain shame or whatever it might be involved in it, you know, or just privacy or whatever it is. Exactly. Yeah. So when we started introducing, you know, the dozens of people every day into our corner, we noticed it completely changed the demographics of that localized area.
Yeah.
I think that Emmy has done a lot for downtown as well. I mean, she's been I think Emmy has done a lot for downtown as well.
Yeah. But by galvanizing the entirety of the community down there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To say, you know, we have a collective goal. Like, what do we want to do? And there's lots of new businesses down there, and we have great food down that way. Actually, the Jode was at the Tasties on Roster there.
They're open, are they?
Oh, yeah,
they're open.
Yeah, she was there for lunch today.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So, guys,
we're gonna got my new boots from Neil Crystal.
Yep, of course. Yeah. Neil's never going anywhere. He's going to be there and right into the end. Yeah.
I wear 15. I can't get anything, sadly, but they do make good stuff. So, guys, we're rolling into. This was fantastic. First of all, Jeff, coming in and hanging out and letting us badger you and chit chat for a couple hours. But I mean, this was good. Like, it was pretty laid back. Tell me. Let everybody know what you'd like to see, where you see 2026 going. Your closing thoughts on, hey guys, this is where I want to be. Wishing everybody a happy holiday, whatever it is, and let's just wrap her up with positivity.
Yeah. So there is lots of things. So one of the things we're going to be discussing the aquatics pool.
Nice.
So the plans will be going out for things like that through 2026. So for the 2027, plan. So that I think we'll have a lot of stuff going on around the Keystone.
Nice.
There's going to be various things going on out in that area. In the green spaces, we're going to try and really get that going.
Good.
You know, there's going to be a lot of things on housing going on downtown. Like, these things have been in the works for a while, and they're going to happen. Look for a lot of different things going on there. We're going to continue to work with airlines.
Yeah. You
know, and again, that one's like, people know we're working, and people know that others are working with us. It's just we want to make sure that it's going to be something that'll work.
Yeah.
I would like to see us do some good affordable housing stuff, which it's like, we know we need to have that.
Yeah.
And so that means government.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And there's a number of things in the queue there. Gambler has a project, First Nation, that's going to get going.
Yeah.
There's another one we're working with the province, but we need things to move faster. Like, we need that stuff now. So we're probably going to get aggressive there. We want to see like the good plans for the Brody building renovation, which is going to be a major project at the university, while we continue to push the medical. And I want to see shovels at the college on the North Hill. That's a massive project
Yeah.
Massive project, 120 million from the province in there. The feds or the biggest private collection we've ever had. Like it's over, I think they're near 40 million private donation.
Really?
That. Yeah. So like that is an exciting project to see that get going. There's going to be 200 space daycare up when they get there, and the exit of excellence. So that stuff is really important. I think, and I've been saying this for a long time, I think the Wheat Kings are going to have a really good playoff run.
Yeah.
I do.
They're doing very good. They're doing really good this year.
I think that they're getting tighter as a team defense.
Yeah,
because they can score.
Yeah,
and so I love the farther the Wheat Kings go, the better, because it's great for the Keystone Center.
Hey, amazing game at
playoffs.
So amazing game over at the Teddy Bear Toss. That was
that was awesome. The Joe and I were at that. Yes, yeah. And so I think they'll do good. I'd like to see, we're going to try. I think we're going to try and get like Manitoba games. I think BU, we're hopefully we'll try to get another national of some kind. So there's a lot of things, and then the Shiloh stuff.
Yeah,
is going to happen, because I'll tell you, it is going to happen in the Army before the others, because the Armies are literally the boots on the ground.
Yeah.
And the Navy and the Air Force, which are even lots too, are big purchases that take a bit of time.
Yeah.
But this is now, like, they're going to be doing things. So there's a lot of things on the go. But in the world of politics, you always have to be ready for an event. So I ran in 2010. I mentioned that it's nice to have the river on the North Hill. I think that's the only reference I made to the river. And then I spent the next year and a half kind of managing the flood in the aftereffects.
That is true. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that river we were talking about. Here it is.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see what the problem was, because it was a river, but it gave everyone a lakefront at that point in time too, right?
So you don't get that very often here in the prairies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic.
And I do want to give a quick shout out to the work they've been doing at the riverbank in the last year or two.
Right.
Oh,
that is another place that people, when you come here, you can take people there. That is a great location. I'm fortunate I don't live far from it. I love it.
Great planning, though. Great plan they have set up there.
Yeah,
so
and they're implementing things.
And they've had great bands there. I've taken my mom. Yeah. I took my mom to a show and the kids to a show.
And Keystone Center, Jimmy Carr. They're bringing Jimmy Carr.
That's right.
I'm going.
Yeah.
Front seats. I've got front row seats here. So,
Jay's the guy that sends me. He's like, he sent me this. He goes, "Hey, Jimmy Carr." I'm like, "Oh, cool. You want to go?" It's like, "Oh, I already got tickets." I'm like,
"Yeah, you should get them too."
Yeah, you should.
I should.
Yeah, there's a lot of things, and so like there's a lot of ambition, and we're working together on that with everybody in the community. We're going to see that school start.
Yeah.
And we'll start working on it. We'll start working on everything else.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Maybe I'll stay in shape for the next little while too. That'll be my own thing.
It's 6 o'clock tomorrow, right? 6
o'clock tomorrow. Are you guys both going to go show at 6 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, I'll meet you there.
Yeah,
tomorrow. Don't lie to everybody.
I'll meet you there.
Westman Immigrant Services, because they're like whiz, because we got a big event going on there. And then tomorrow, Keystone Center, public open house all day.
Really?
What is it? I should know. Sorry, I'm gonna look.
That's fine. What do you sleep, like half an hour a day? It seems like you're just everywhere.
I love those things, though. Actually, as I said, I got an interesting discussion next week on some stuff. Yeah, 10:50 to 11:50. Oh, they're literally really scheduling me on that. Keystone Family Fun Day, 11 till 3. So
nice.
Cool. Keystone's open for everybody.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, skating, all kinds of different things going on there.
So, fantastic.
I like seeing that there's momentum moving forward, and you're so realistic about it. It almost sounds like you're not in politics, which is perfect. So no, it's good, and
I'm in municipal politics.
Well, there's the thing. We can ask you questions, and you're giving answers, and they're non-political answers. They're just like these are very factual points. So
here's what's happening.
Is a very big deal. Happening.
Yeah.
But no, I think this was.
I appreciate you guys putting me on here. I got a kick out of it because as I said, the fellow was every Friday he would do a live, and I thought, oh, you know what? I'll tell these guys I'll work with them on one, and
this is
because
cool.
I don't mind it, but I prefer the natural. I know you guys are natural. I know it's easy to talk to.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
Right.
so we do try. It doesn't always work out so well, but with you made it generally quite easy.
Here's the thing, Jeff. Anytime you want to hop in, please, you're welcome to pop by anytime. And it's good. And thing is, the chat went nuts. The people were engaging. This is good. I think this is that real. This is one of those Fridays where, yeah, we weren't just talking about nonsense. We actually had a good conversation. Which is
this was the Christmas edition.
This is the Christmas edition.
Exactly. Merry Christmas. Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Happy
Christmas,
holidays. And anything that anybody
Merry
wants.
Christmas. God bless us, everyone. Right.
Yes, and help your neighbor shovel.
You know what?
Yeah.
There is
good advice.
nothing wrong with that. And there's a pile of snow out there.
Yeah.
And as Emmanuel says, is there a more accessible, more human mayor in the world than Jeff?
Look at that.
Look at this high praise from Emmanuel there.
See,
and he's an Arsenal fan.
Yes. we all have our mistakes, so we all have faults, right? So
I love giving him the gears. Well, actually, I can't give him the gears. They're beating Chelsea. So
that's fair.
The truth is, he's got one over on me.
But guys,
no, that's great, guys. I really do appreciate it. I am going to go have another tea sit down with the Jode. I'm reading. I just about finished the inner game of tennis.
Excellent.
Which is actually more
mental. It always is. Right.
Yeah.
Always is mental. Excellent.
okay, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Everybody, thanks for hopping
Merry
on.
Christmas.
And like I said, anytime, just let us know. We'll do this whenever you like. It was fun. It was good. And you know what? You got people hopping in. Good night. Good night. Good night. Merry Christmas.
Good night. Good night to everybody there. I'm waving to your signs. Oh yeah, Emmanuel saw that Arsenal thing.
Okay, guys, be safe this holiday season and enjoy your families, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it a great deal, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
you bet.
Merry Christmas.